帶走傷感，帶不走哭得轉紅了的燈，記憶隨身，延續欠你的氣氛，帶走開心，卻帶不走拖手時的體溫，微暖質感。
Hello and welcome to Floating Through Film. This is episode 180 and I am your host Blake. And this week we are going to be doing another week of my series, Johhnie To. We're going to be doing Running on Karma and Throwdown. But before we get into anything, let me introduce my co-hosts Luke.
Hello.
And Danny.
Hello.
So we're going to be starting with Running on Karma this week, obviously. But before we even get into that, I guess that more than anything, we're going to be starting with Wai-Kai-Fei as well. We're going to be doing a few more of his movies as well. Him and Johhnie To co-directed a lot of movies together.
I didn't even realize that.
With Milky Way.
And he's like the writer too.
Yeah, he's the writer on a lot of Johhnie To's movies. Did he write Throwdown? Can you confirm that? I think that one was all Johhnie To.
Yeah,
but,
I'm pretty sure.
But Running on Karma
it doesn't feel like a Wai-Kai-Fei kind of.
No, it doesn't. He still might have wrote the script, but
doesn't feel as like out there as
as out there.
No, it's Yao Nai Hua, who wrote like basically all the gangster movies.
Oh, okay.
So Election, Drug War, The Mission, PTU.
All Johhnie To's like personal.
He wrote
movies,
Romance in Thin Air.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Because Wai-Kai-Fei also wrote that one, I'm pretty sure.
But he also helped write Running on Karma too.
Damn. No, yeah, there's a lot of the same people, obviously, on Johhnie To's teams in this era. But him and Wai-Kai-Fei did do a lot of movies together. I know that we're going to be doing at least one other one with Don't Go Breaking. Oh no, that one might just be Johhnie To actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. But Wai-Kai-Fei writes a lot of his movies, obviously. But this movie is definitely a blending of the two of them. You can definitely see that. I did have some quotes from my book, and the quote from the book reads, Wai was instrumental in working out the stories and organizing the hierarchy of themes, and To's task was as a glorified moteur en scene, making sure that whatever Wai wrote would be filmable within the allocated budget, and the stories are told in the most interesting manner possible, according to the scheme of thematic movements formulated by Wai, which can be summarized as follows. He does bring up some movies, that, like some of the romantic movies together, the Stephen Tao who wrote the book, but I'm just going to skip that and say, which can be summarized as follows: heroic destiny, failure, revival, fulfillment, and acceptance. And for those films, he has Running on Karma and Throwdown, even though Throwdown is completely Johhnie To, it still kind of falls into that like story arc, you can say, of heroic destiny, failure, revival, fulfillment, and acceptance. And so that's one reason why I chose both these movies this week. Like, it'd been a while since I'd seen Throwdown. Like, I watched Running on Karma recently, and this movie definitely tackles, in a very spiritual way, the journey to basically accept yourself again, kind of. Like, to overcome past strife. And it does it in a very Buddhist sensibility. Like, this movie is all about Buddhism, obviously. But
Throwdown's also about
Throwdown is definitely that's what I was about to get to.
It doesn't have to do with
sure.
the over Buddhist kind of element of it.
No, yeah, but that one's definitely about overcoming depression and accepting yourself again too. But that's definitely what both these movies are about. They definitely fit well together. But what do you guys think about Running on Karma? So I think I'll start with Luke, because I don't think you've seen this movie before, right? Okay.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was a lot of stuff to get, like, a lot of stuff was thrown at me, I feel like, watching it. But no, I really liked, well, it's a bizarre movie, I feel like.
It definitely is.
Because, like, yeah, this guy's in, like, his crazy, like, suit or whatever, the muscle suit. And it's, like, obviously fake, but, like, I feel like it's, like, I don't know, it, like, makes him stand out compared to everybody.
No, definitely.
Like, he almost, like, doesn't, like, I don't know, like, it almost, like, doesn't really, like, he doesn't really fit in with, like, everyone else, I feel like.
No, even the other, like, bodybuilders are way more, like, they actually are bodybuilders, you can tell, and then Andy Lausch is here, like...
Nah, yeah, it's just, like, no, there was just a lot of, like, crazy cuts and, like a lot of interesting ideas, as you kind of were saying, about, like, past lives and stuff. I don't really understand it, to be honest, like completely. Obviously, it's my
well,
first
that's
one,
part of the beauty is that even the
like,
characters don't understand it.
No,
sometimes,
yes,
so.
but like it's
that's
just,
why I'm kind of curious. Like, what do you think? Like, what are your first impressions of?
like I definitely like. I think I'll like it
especially.
more on rewatch because like it's just like a lot, and like it definitely feels kind of like messy at points too.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Some of these movies from this period from Johnnie To can feel messy.
yeah, which
Like,
I, mean,
he's trying a
I
lot.
don't think
reason
that's like
is
a
that
bad
he's
thing
trying a lot.
necessarily. It's just like it's just first watching kind of
Yeah.
it can be just like a bit jarring to watch, but I think I'm gonna definitely rewatch this and kind of like it even more. But I still really like it. Yeah.
But what theme wise, what do you think? Like, you said you mentioned past lives, but like, because I've seen it 3 times now. Even I don't
Same.
know. Like, I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if it's supposed to mean anything. Like, no, I'm curious. That's why I'm curious. Like if there's even anything that comes thought wise, because yeah, like story wise or like plot wise, I don't even know if it even makes sense really. Like I don't even know if you even like put everything together if it would make sense. But it's supposed to have like an impression. Like he's, karma is a very difficult topic to understand.
Yeah, I don't really
this idea of
super familiar.
birth and death and rebirth and just like every action having a consequence, but us suffering the consequences of actions that aren't ours. You know,
that
and
were
just,
ours in a past life,
or were in our past lives. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't really know much about like Buddhism and stuff like that, which is. But it's interesting. I don't know.
Well, okay, so I guess I kind of asked. That's why I was curious. I wanted to know, like, if any of those themes even came, because it is. This one is probably a messy movie. It is a messy movie.
It is a messy movie.
But in a good way.
No, I don't think that's necessarily bad.
No, this era in Johnnie To's career is definitely it has some messy movies, mostly because he's trying to do new things.
Yes.
And this movie, it's very unique. You can definitely at least give it that. So,
but actually, in this is the thing. It's not real. It's not going for realism. That's why it's going for the impression of like.
Well, I think Throwdown also you could definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely describe that as like.
But see, that one at least it's like slower. It's like very like story wise, it's very easy to understand. You know, once you get the kind of twist that happens. So I was like going over some Johnnie To interviews, and I saw him where I basically can't find anything on Running on Karma. I don't know, maybe there's some DVD where he does extras, but I can't find anything.
It's hard, yeah.
But Throwdown, I guess it was his favorite movie.
Throwdown was, yes.
I guess
it is his favorite movie.
But he said, in Running on Karma, we talked about retribution of cause and effect. In Throwdown, we presented an encouraging world. What I think Milky Way should do in the future is produce movies with a message behind it, but at the same time keep the audience engaged. And like basically both these movies I feel like really are like emphasizing the message part even more than some of his other movies. You know, like that's you could say like even different than his crime movies or like his rom-coms where it's like you can really tell these feel like more personal, like
definitely
deeper like themes even on the surface, you know, versus just like more of the action and then but then that's why I saw this other interview with this lady named, I think her name is Shelley Craigseer. I don't know how to say her last name, but it's this interview she did on Notebook, and she basically what's it called when you present a bunch of movies for like at a theater at a exhibition where you show all them? Yeah, you curate. She curated Johnnie To's like movies at TIFF one year or something, like 18 of them, and and she was talking about the whole interview is about her, like Johnnie To's whole career. Like most people only see him as action movies, but like basically you kind of like they did a lot of his rom-coms and stuff too. But she makes let me read this quote she said. Because the interviewer said, "It strikes me as being a very rare type of relationship between a commercial studio and a mass audience." And then she said, "All of Chinese popular and traditional arts stem from a Confucian didactic tradition. The role of an artist is to teach people how to be good. That's an overstatement, but that moral imperative is alive and active today, and Johnnie To Cinema asks questions about what's wrong in contemporary life, and asks what tools do we have at our disposal to cope or triumph, but usually just cope, because the films have a pessimistic, bleak side. and how can those resources be activated and energized? All this happens remarkably in an entertainment cinema, which Johhnie To crafts to thrill and entertain. The impossible thing to me is how do you balance those imperatives of giving audiences what they want along with what they need? And I think Johhnie To has an immensely impressive and awesome ability to strike that balance. And like to me, like I honestly think these are going to be like the best movies that we're doing. At least my personal favorites. These are my. I should say that wrong. Like these are my personal favorites because I do like the action ones.
These are two of my favorites as well. Yes.
Like I was thinking about because like I was just thinking about the ones we're going to do next in the future weeks compared to even this week's, and like these feel even out of place. Like for the rest, even for the not out of place, but they feel very different than even the other
definitely.
Ones. You know, like they're very unique. Like I don't even think he has another very religious movie like this. And it's
I don't think so either. Not that I've seen, at least.
Yeah,
so.
That's true.
Because he does have a lot of movies, but
that idea of like balancing really entertaining a movie and then also having a message and like that kind of idea, even being like a Confucian tradition, you know, and like how they view what an artist's role is supposed to be. Like I really see that in both these movies, like especially in Running Karma, what he's trying to do, because it's like it is a very fun movie. Like from like the bodysuit at the very beginning opening shot, it's like funny as fuck.
Yes, dude.
Like just the close up on his ass, like, and it's like it's emphasizing the fakeness of it.
Yeah,
you know?
it definitely.
That's the thing. It's not trying to be like, oh, this is a real bodysuit.
Yes.
You know, it's like it's playing it as a comedy, but it is kind of like a joke. This monk that's like, that's what makes Johhnie To special. Like he's like mixing all these genres, and like even the first time I watched it, I didn't love it. You know, it was more like it felt like a messy movie that was trying to have some, you know, religious themes. But then like third time I've watched it now, just like, but like that's like the part of like life, you know, of like life is messy when you're trying to figure out what the like why something happens when it's not your fault to blame. Like just like this whole concept of karma, which I've read a lot about in different kind of contexts, and it's still like really hard to understand because I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but basically like every school of Indian philosophy, there's been like 4 or 5 major ones. All of them believed in karma and they had their own kind of theories about it. But this idea of like basically almost like a very like law of thermodynamics, you know, every action has an opposite reaction. Mm-hmm. You know, that kind of attitude of just why our life is affected in ways we don't understand, you know, because other things happen that we also don't understand, that we can't see, you know. And maybe certain people have that ability to see like little moments of past lives and stuff like that. And that's actually what Uncle Boomy is about too, in a way.
It kind of is, yeah.
At least about that guy who says he sees past lives. But yeah, because I don't know if you remember on the Rasan episode, I talked about dependent origination, which is this Buddhist term called pratitsamuppada, which is dependent origination. But it's basically an understanding of karma, of like basically everything in the world is dependent on something else, you know. And it's weird that like this movie is also very much about that, because you remember the quote from Driver Country Priest I read on that. I don't know if you guys remember. You'll probably remember the quote when I read it, because it's when this lady is talking to the priest, and she says, "You never get to the day if you dwell on such thoughts." And he says, "I believe that, madam. I believe God gave us a clear idea of how closely we are bound to each other in good and evil. We truly cannot live." Yeah. And like basically that quote's like the end of this movie to me, where it's like he kind of finally has that realization, you know, of like how bound we are to each other in that kind of like in that like karmic birth and death. Like the way to like have nirvana is almost like just give it up. And I still don't know exactly how to interpret the ending, but that's kind of how I see it. You know? Yeah.
No, the ending is definitely very confusing. I still don't know how to interpret it either, but
it's almost like something like it almost like didn't happen. You know, like
no, yeah. Well, it's almost like he was shown visions of the future almost, and then he changes it.
Yes, exactly. But that's almost like what he's saying what a movie can do.
Yeah.
You know, like none of it's real. You know, and that's like, but it can change like how you actually, you know, come out of it. You know, but. I don't know. It's a really interesting movie to me because I do love religious philosophical movies, and I want to read some more quotes about when we get to Throwdown, because like I said, I couldn't find any interviews of what he did about Running on Karma specifically, but a lot of them I think will apply to this movie too. But I guess one more thing before I let you say your thoughts is because I was going through the Bresson notes again, and Adam Egoyan, I think he's French. I don't remember what country he's from. He had said this about Bresson, but you can almost say this is about like that other quote I read about Johhnie To, because he said, quote, "If education is formulated on making us understand the relationship of action to consequence, her son is the supreme teacher, and like that's basically what karma is. So, yeah, but yeah, what do you think? It's
No,
it's
yeah.
one of my favorites.
No, yeah. I also love this movie. It is one of my favorites as well. I watched it for the first time very recently, and I was having the same overall thoughts as Luke basically until the movie basically flips on its head at the very ending, or at the last 30 minutes, you would say. Basically, I was just kind of like a little bit messy. I was still having a lot of fun with it, but I couldn't really understand what was going on. It's very, very genre hopping, which I do love. It goes through a lot of different genres, like comedy, horror, like, and then it goes spiritual, obviously. But, the ending itself is very interesting, and you brought up a lot of good points, just like on like how you can read it. Because I honestly don't even think if you ask Johhnie To like what the ending means, like he would have a definitive answer for you. Because like it can mean a lot of different things, Like it's whatever you really want it to mean at the end of the day. Like I already said that I think it's about like. He overcame a certain like mental block, basically keeping him from living this life, almost like basically living this life a bit of a monk. Like he has too much hate in his heart to live that way, and this like journey at the very end is basically him facing himself, literally overcoming that hatred in his heart, and then he can actually like. I think he has the actual quote in the movie like. Cultivate wholesome thoughts is the only thing the Buddha taught.
Yes.
And that's what the ending is to me. Is like he's cultivating this wholesome thoughts so this cycle of violence doesn't keep on happening, basically. Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't like guess that the movie is going this way whenever you watch the first hour of it. That's the thing. Because right from the opening scene, like you said, he is very clearly making you realize that this is a fake bodysuit on a very skinny man. And it is literally the fakest bodysuit you have ever seen, and that is like it's honestly for a reason, because you can definitely say that's like his shackle. He is in this body until he can get over his hatred.
I mean, basically. It's not a coincidence. Like this also has like a lot of repetition. So it's like
definitely
Wardwell talks about. Like the first time he leaves the forest, he strips off the clothes for the bodysuit, and then at the end, like I forget what he strips off at the end. Like
he strips out of the robes, basically.
Yeah, the robes. Yeah. Exactly.
Again.
Then we see him naked with the bodysuit. Yeah. No, sorry, I interrupted. Yeah, I remember he repeats that with the.
No.
It's one of the best shots in the movie too, when he's like meditating on the.
Bro, it is. It's so good. No, there are so many good shots. There are so many good shots in this movie. Like the one thing I will say about it, even though the bodysuit is very fake, and you're supposed to know it's fake, it still doesn't look bad. Like overall, like they're doing a good job making it like look pretty good, like look pretty decent at least in this movie. But
especially when he's doing the
bodybuilding competition.
Yeah,
no, but this movie itself is just like it really is an interesting one for Johhnie To, because he does get spiritual in his movies. Like I have said before, we aren't doing very many of the ones that go into those Buddhist elements, I guess I would say, because a lot of them are just kind of like his earlier like gangster movies where they would be going to these places like mini groups and just kind of like being there. But this one's just interesting as in like you can definitely tell it is Wai-Kai Fei as well. Like I said at the beginning, I think with that quote from the book, it's like Johhnie To is more so here for the Matoran scene, basically making sure everything works out, basically.
Well,
like
I read
making
that
sure
quote
everything
last
looks
week.
good.
Where he's like, Wai-Kai Fei's the brain and I'm the hands.
Yeah, he's the hand, yes.
Yeah, the hands.
Yeah, because like his job is basically just to make sure that Wai-Kai Fei's script is able to be filmed in the best possible way, and I think he succeeds very well. And I do like the script too, obviously. Like I think I do like Wai-Kai Fei's scripts. He is a little crazy, which I appreciate, but I mean, I guess we can go on ahead and get into the movie if you guys want.
Yep.
So, I mean, we already have basically talked about the opening, but it is just one of the best opening scenes, I think, personally. It makes me laugh every time, because you literally just see Andy Lau there just dancing in that fucking bodysuit, man.
To be honest, I didn't read anything what this movie was about.
You were probably shocked. I was shocked
like,
whenever I first saw it,
that's an
too.
interesting opening, I guess. Like, damn.
Well, but also, like, even the title credits kind of trick you, because it's like, I think like a slow, there's like, I forgot what the music is exactly.
It's like thriller-ish music.
Yeah, exactly. It's like basically the exact opposite of it. Like, you're not expecting this cut to like a stripper. But also he's already playing with you because
He
like
is.
the main woman who's like cheering for him ends up being like an undercover cop, you know. So
Yeah, no, she's very interesting in this movie too, obviously, because she's
actually I wanted to mention her.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I guess in this movie where I already mentioned like the body, like Andy Lau doesn't fit in this body, obviously, and you can definitely say like the persona of this cop does not fit the Japanese soldier that her past life is with, you know. It's like it's something I feel like it's something that Johhnie To did maybe on purpose. Like I don't know, like I think this is a famous actress in Hong Kong, so that might just be who they wanted to like get for this role, but her being like a softer person and then we're seeing all this shit from her past life, it kind of like makes it more believable where Andy Lau just kind of like doesn't want to believe that he can't save her almost. Because that's something that Andy Lau struggles with at the beginning of this movie. He thinks he can save her. And he's trying to turn back the hand of fate.
Yeah.
And fate can't be... fate can't be changed. It's like this entire movie, something that makes it great also is it's literally predestined. He tells you like basically right from the beginning what's going to happen. At least with this storyline.
Well, that's
like,
what
you
makes
don't know
this movie
what's
so kind of amazing to me, and I think why a lot of people might like just not even like it or kind of say it as messy, because like even the way he's playing with expectations is kind of like this character. Like in a normal movie, if like our lead hero sees visions of the main woman having visions of some past life where it's kind of destined that she's going to die, that basically already tells you that he's going to save her at the end with like some kind of key or some kind of like spiritual ritual or whatever, and then he'll like overturn fate or whatever. And that's basically how this whole movie leads up to. Like he's going to figure it out. Like he saves her multiple times, but like he even teases it. Like after he saves her the second time, like and he's like bodybuilding and stuff. Like you think it's kind of over with, but then it's like it's still there. And it's like a very complicated movie because it's not like saying... It's basically saying he should still do that. You know, he should still have tried to save her, but like at a certain point you just have to accept it.
Yeah.
Or like, even then, it's like only when he leaves, she like dies like going in the forest after him.
Basically.
You know, so it's like he could not have prevented it anyway.
No.
You know, it was like... but that doesn't mean, like you said, to cultivate good actions, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do that. And that's like the very kind of hard thing about karma, just like people don't want to accept, but even life in general, you know, it's like... Sometimes we can do everything we can, and things still happen against us, you know, and that's not our fault. But it's like, even our own life is not our own life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like we're born of other lives before us.
We didn't agree to any of this.
Yes, exactly. But then we're going to cause other people to have lives that they're bound to because of our decisions as well. You know?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best scenes in this movie happens whenever he saves her that second time, I can't remember, but it's whenever he's talking with his masters just in the streets whenever they're having dinner, because his master is basically saying like, who is her, like he's asking his master who her savior is, and he says it's you, and he's like, is it me or is it her? And then he's like, why did you want to save her? And he's like, I saw the goodness in her. And then the master says that means that she is basically like, she's performing good deeds and changing her, not changing her fate, but she's like putting that out there. I actually have the quote later on, but the actual quote later on, but that's the whole thing is like, even if it's hard to think like this, if karma is real, if reincarnation is real, all you should be doing as a human is trying to cultivate those wholesome actions for your future self also, like, because that's something that you could say that she's doing in this movie is like, she accepts that she's going to die. Yeah. And she doesn't run away from that. She instead tries to cultivate even greater actions by helping Andy Lau overcome basically his spiritual struggle, you could say. Yeah. But I don't know, it's all about like it's hard to think that way, I guess, but
it is.
It's like she is cultivating future actions for herself so that maybe in her next life she doesn't have to die this way, you know, like...
Yeah. Because, like, the reason she's dying because of bad cultivated actions in the past, you know. Also, this is a very complex... That's why I said, like, every school in Indian philosophy has their own kind of version of karma and, like, what it means. But at least, like, one kind of version is, like, basically the psychological stuff, the way we understand it, is not what they meant by, like, a life. You know, they meant more or less, like... the way certain concepts and ideas are passed down from generation to generation, even the way certain actions are passed down, you know, like the way we do things because our parents do them, stuff like that. But that's why even like that idea of a past life is really interesting. But in this movie, like originally what I wanted to bring up, like because I brought up the whole like why it feels even messy at times, because like the fact that she just dies too, is like, and you think, oh, maybe she's gonna come back, or like she has to die. Like that's like the whole point of the movie. Like the movie, that's why I point this out so often, where movies like will kill a character or tease it and then like don't do it or make up a fake happy ending or whatever. Like movie's the exact opposite of that, because like that's what the movie's about, and it doesn't betray it at the end. But it's like he has to have that realization because of that, or at the very least, you could say the whole thing like, I don't know, it's a vision, doesn't happen at the very, and only the thing that happens with itself at the very end is real. I don't know, but that, like I don't even know if you said Johhnie To doesn't even know, but
he might know.
But yeah, but the fact that she dies is just like so, because like she has that scene where she's like, saying like I've had a good life, you know, she's been so lucky and stuff. Like normally if a character has that moment, like gets you that sentimental, like there's like no way they're gonna kill him off, you know, especially that late in the movie. But it just makes everything hit harder, and then the ending is just like so open.
It is.
You know? Yeah, but you are right. She doesn't seem like a cop character.
No, she doesn't.
She seems more in place, like when she has like the fake hair later, and she kind of surprises him. She's like,
yes.
Because you actually believe that fake out too, where she's like,
no,
if I'm gonna die,
I
might as well just be like a fucking like a hippie or whatever she said.
I felt so disappointed, like Andy Lau did.
I know.
I was like, oh my god, no.
But then that's actually true, because it repeats this beginning scene too. She's like, actually, I'm undercover.
Yes. No, yeah. I mean, we can continue on the movie, because even this early in the movie is also, or Johhnie To is also like messing just with your idea of like what the movie is going to be, because we open with that, and he's also intercutting the police finding the Indian man, or finding the murder scene, I guess, because the police are there.
Me fucking like, what the fuck is going on?
This one's crazy. Like I thought the same thing whenever I first watched, because I was like, what the hell is about to happen in this movie? Because this guy just like pops out of that tin can, and I'm just like, man, nope. No. No, I think my book also pointed out that Johhnie To and Wai-Kai borrowed a lot, especially for the more mystical elements of this movie, from Indian cinema specifically.
Interesting.
Which I haven't watched a lot of Indian cinema, so I can't confirm that, but it would be interesting if that was the case, because I could also see it. But yeah, they obviously capture this guy at the beginning, and it's still intercut with this striptease, or basically the striptease that Andy Lau is performing for all these women, because as he's like throwing off his underwear, he gets arrested, or all of them get arrested by the CID. They come in and bust it. Very fucking. It really is just an insane opening, honestly. But then it's followed by even more like crazy scenes, because we're still having this shit going on with Andy Lau. And then the Indian man, in the meantime, has been detained and is being taken to the police station. He literally basically kills everyone in the car, gets out, throws that fucking cop like out the window. He gets thrown over. Like, oh my god, that scene whenever I first saw it was like fucking insane. But
he's basically the only character that has like powers too, I feel like.
It's him, it's Andy Lau in this, the other guy that he ends up catching, just that one random like Batman villain, I think. Like it's just like a random like little superhero villain basically, but yeah, this Indian man, he basically escapes after throwing that man out and runs into Andy Lau, who has also escaped from the police, or is trying to run away because he is kind of. We figured this out later, but he's an illegal immigrant to Hong Kong, so if he gets caught, obviously he's going to get deported. So
he makes a joke about that later.
He does make a joke about that later. But whenever they run past each other, we get the first instance of Andy Lau seeing karma, obviously, which is going to be the massive point in this movie, whenever the dog runs past. Because whenever he sees the dog run past, he sees the past life of, I think it's this dog as a boy beating another dog to death, essentially.
This one's really quick.
This one is very quick. And whenever he sees that, he keeps on running. He gets arrested, and as he's getting arrested, the dog gets shot by I can't remember. Her name is Lee in this movie. He gets shot by Lee. And I do kind of love his little like him looking at the dog as he's dying, because like he's still seeing the scene behind him, and he's just like, I'm sorry. He just says like, I'm no longer a monk. I can't help you. I'm no longer a monk. It's just like really sad. Yeah. But after the dog dies, he looks at obviously Lee in the background, and we just see the Japanese soldier for the first time beheading someone. And his reaction is very funny because he has this reaction a couple times where whenever he's still like in denial, basically, because he's just like, oh, didn't see it.
Yeah.
He's just ignoring it right now. But then it cuts to the precinct where Andy is just getting like abused. Police brutality at its finest, because they think he's somehow in on this because they ran into him during the while they were running to get the Indian man, obviously. But he gets saved by the female cop again, or Lee again, basically by just saying like, oh, we literally were there for a striptease like bust, and that's why he was on that street whenever the Indian man was passing. But she ends up getting a promotion essentially to the exact squad that is chasing the Indian man. And then we cut to Andy after he's like released. He's just at like this bar, which doing basically just like party tricks with this muscle suit. It's so dumb. It's so dumb, but
no, there's some good. It's like two girls motorboating them.
That's so
fake parties.
I didn't realize that you could like do that.
I mean, yeah, no.
It's so fucking funny.
He's having fun with it.
He is. He definitely is. I honestly love the cut to him standing like just nude smoking in the room afterwards.
Honestly, no, it's actually
a
really
great shot.
no, that's what you said. It's like mixing so many. All of a sudden, it's like really like
noir-esque,
basically, like romantic. It's like the kind of light coming in from the back.
Dude, the shot of just like the whatever's going on outside. I think it might be a carnival or some shit. I don't know what it is, but it looks awesome. And he's basically just like having that inner turmoil at this point, saying like, should I help her, should I not? He sees the lightning strike outside. He's like, just this once. And then it immediately cuts to the crime scene from before. I think this is like the first of many instances of this like CID officer being like basically the biggest asshole on the planet, because he's just like asking Lee to go put herself in the can where the Indian guy popped out of at the very beginning. They get the news that their coworker died, Four Eye, the guy that got run over, and I was just like, obviously he died. Like they all like freak out, like, or they all just get like really mad that happened, which I guess fair, but you should have expected it because he literally got beheaded by a car. But just more instances of this like head guy being an asshole because she forgot the camera whenever they left. And he literally just drops her off at the side of the highway and leaves her there for her to go back. And then whenever she gets back is whenever we get the first instance of her and Big meeting again for the first time, where he is just waiting for her in the dark, you could say. He just like covers her hand and goes like, I want to help. Someone in your squad's going to die. Don't scream or whatever. And she obviously doesn't. She doesn't like agree to the help, you could say, but Andy Law just basically goes and just starts reenacting the murder scene from before, which I really like this type of cross-cutting because it's literally just like...
Actually, do you remember what movie we watched that has kind of a similar thing to this? It reminded me of a scene in Deja Vu. Where like they're describing the guy killing the girl in the shotgun through the truck. Where like he sees the but he's like describing like it's going back and forth between like the live event and it just reminded me of that.
It does.
Also very similar directors too in some ways. Johnnie To and Tony Scott.
See that.
Especially with these types of movies, like the more conceptual but Tony Scott's got all types of movies too. Like.
He does. But yeah, like basically the ending of the scene is Andy getting to the end where the guy was literally beating this guy's face in to the point that the ground underneath it is like rubble, and he just says like hatred this deep must stem from generations essentially. He said deep emotions of betrayal and trust. So that's also just part of this movie. Like if hatred flows this deeply for this long, it's obviously like hard to stop, but you could say that's also part of the movie. Yeah. It's like Andy Law also stops that flow of hatred kind of by doing what he does at the end. But
I mean, yeah, because like that's what Nirvana's technically supposed to be, is breaking the cycle of death and rebirth.
Yeah,
which is karma, the cycle of death and rebirth. You know, so basically that cycle's seen negative. Or like I always think of the famous Gandhi quote: "An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind."
Yeah,
you know, it's very simple, but it's like. That's what this movie's kind of about, basically breaking that. Because like we see the different versions of that.
We do.
Which is kind of cool. I love the black and white one we're going to see later. where we see those two guys fighting back in time.
Oh yes.
And like the sky is like flowing all fucking
it's
weird.
So good. It's so good. I mean, that's literally about to come up because, like, we first have them meeting under the streetlight because she basically tells him to leave because the other officer is going to come in. Johnnie To is great at just filming anything with lighting. I don't know. It's so amazing.
Him and streetlights are just. I might have to put that thread together on Twitter.
You have to, honestly. I would like every single one of those. If I would get on Twitter just for that, but he's basically just trying to convince her at this moment that he can see karma, and she basically doesn't really believe him. He does like the tissue trick also, which I really like the tissue. Like I like the tissue scene, but she does end up basically buying it, you could say, at the very end, or at least like buying it enough to let him look at the body of the morgue. Because that's where they're off to next is the morgue, and at the morgue is where we get the first instance of seeing that. I think it's the only time we see it in full. I'm pretty sure, because we see the beetle a couple more times, but I think this is the only time we see this scene. But it's just as Danny said, just like these two, kind of like ancient warriors, you would say, fighting on a hilltop, and the clouds are all flowing behind them. It's in black and white. One of them stabs the other guy, and he falls back and says, "Oh, don't kill me, basically. It's my fault." And then it leads to the other guy falling back, thinking like it's basically good, and he like turns over and sees a scared beetle in the water, and he flips it over and saves it, and then he gets stabbed in the back. And whenever he gets stabbed, the beetle flies off and loses a leg, and then Andy Law is just like, "Oh, this means that the killer is going to be saved by a one-armed woman." And then after that, immediately cuts to said woman. She still has two arms at this moment, but this is the scene where we see her and the Indian man. And this is just another one of the moments where Johnnie To doesn't tell you anything. Like, a lot of other directors, I feel, would put a lot of dialogue in the scene where they're, like, talking about their past lives, or where this Indian man is trying to convince her, like, help me. But in this scene, it's literally just, like, they see each other, she tries to run away, he stops her, and then he just faints on top of her, and it's just, like, implied. We later see the...
Like, you're supposed to understand, like, by the fact that she has this huge bag in her hand, she's helping him, you know?
Yes,
and he kind of hangs on the shot of her, like, not resisting after they fall, you know?
Yeah, just laying
like,
there,
maybe
basically.
she will help her, you know, like a Stockholm Syndrome thing or something, I don't know.
Well, you could think of it as Stockholm Syndrome, I guess, but then, like, later on, you could, like, she does give her reasoning.
Well, I forgot what she says.
I mean, we'll get there, because I do have it written down, but she basically just says, like, it felt like I knew him. Like, I've only known him for a day, but it felt like so much longer than that. I can't explain it, but that's what she said. But, I mean, I'm saying that we're literally about to get there, because, like, the CID gets tipped off on where the killer is, so they're off to find him. And in the meantime, Lee is with Andy at the coffee shop, and she basically just tells him, like, "Hey, follow us on my motorcycle. Do you know how to drive one?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good at the arcade game." Leads to one of the best jokes in the movie, where it's like they're driving off, and Andy Law gets on the motorcycle, starts it up, and he just goes like, "Ah!" and just like runs right into the wall.
Doesn't Psy movie have a
Yes,
yeah,
it has that.
It
has that. It made me think of that
one of them
too.
gets a hurt, yeah.
This one's so funny also, but yeah, it's just really fucking funny scenes of watching Andy Law try to ride this motorcycle.
That's
and
what,
try
like,
to keep up with them.
like, you can definitely see the comedy aspects, the comedy
Most definitely.
parts of it.
Because it's a lot of reaction shots of her, because she's watching him, obviously. Like, there's a lot of great shots of us, like, watching from the rearview mirror in the car, and just, like, but they do make it to the apartment and find it. They find, just a bunch of bloody gauze and an appointment book saying that they're going to, like, with a date highlighted or a time highlighted on it, saying 10 o'clock at this station or whatever. And so they're off to there, and then we get more hilarity of, like, Andy Law basically giving up at trying to ride the motorcycle to hail a taxi, and then he sees them drive past on the way to the train station. He gets back on the motorcycle and goes off. But this movie also, like, this movie is so fast. Yeah. Like, I will say, like, the editing, I think, helps it. Like, it's definitely confusing on a first watch. It gets a lot easier to digest on a rewatch, but even on a rewatch, it moves so fast.
But because these scenes are... Like,
they're long, but they, like, there's a lot going on in them, so...
And they're more for the excitement and stuff, but, like, plot-wise, they're not that important.
No.
Like, it's basically, like...
It's more for how it looks, honestly.
Yeah. Or just kind of the fun, like, of watching it, you know?
A lot of it's symbolic, you know?
Yeah. I do like basically how he like traps this guy in this fucking vent though.
Dude, this entire scene is amazing. I mean, like, the cops are basically just like spreading out like a gang, almost looking like they're trying to corner a rat. You can tell, but yeah, Lee finds the girl first before the cop gets there. She tries to like help her out a little bit, like, hey, help, where's this guy? You're like, we don't want you to get hurt. Before the CID officer comes in, just like basically starts abusing this woman like fucking crazy. Great shot after he's like asking her like where he is, of just her looking, and then we see the bag just in the center of the train station or of the like bus station, wherever they're at. It's just like there, just with the light on it. So it's such a good shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's how you know she's helping.
Yes.
Like, you don't need to do all that backstory you're talking about in the previous scene or whatever.
No.
The scene of her bringing the bag, because like, once you see a bag that big from the opening scene when we saw this guy coming out of a fucking bag,
coming out of like a tin can,
or tin can, yeah. It's like, and the cops know that too.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Once they see like an unintended bag, like if you go to an airport, it's like, oh, have you seen an unintended bag? Like, go turn it in. Like, don't turn this on, man. This guy would be.
This scene is crazy, man.
Yeah.
He like just he walks over there like super slowly, and then just like starts kicking the bag, and then he starts beating it with a shotgun. You just see blood coming out of it.
No, that's when you start seeing the blood. You're like, oh shit, he got him.
Yeah, he got him for sure. And then he's like, he kind of gets overconfident. And he like opens up the bag, and then she goes like, no, don't. And then the hand just shoots out and grabs it and pulls him in. Fucking crazy.
No, that's where you said like the horror parts too. There's like
horror
all of a sudden, like, no, that is a good scene. I would love to see a Johnnie To horror movie though. Just like,
I feel like he has some maybe
My
not
Left
like
I
a
See
straight.
Ghosts.
That's not really horror.
Mad Detective, kind of like thriller.
Those are more thriller, yeah.
He has
Straight
serial killer
horror would be
movies,
good.
but he doesn't have like a
Straight horror.
But see, he's so good with the shadows and stuff. Like he'd be a good
is.
ghost, like a ghost movie.
I know that he did like Happy Ghost 3, but that's like I think that's a comedy. So.
Oh, okay.
But that was also like back in 1986, whenever he was first coming back to the industry. So, but yeah, it's in this scene whenever obviously the guy grabs the cop's face and drags him into the bag that he shoots the shotgun, shoots the woman's arm off. And then all hell kind of breaks loose because after that happens, the guy like breaks out. Like the cop's face is all mangled and shit now. But it is in this moment that she asks the lady, like after they're all looking for the guy, she asks the lady like why she helped him. And the lady says, I don't know, I've known him less for a day, but somehow it feels much longer than that. It's a strange feeling. I don't regret anything that's happened. And then right after she says that line, like I don't regret anything that's happened, like the arm shoots out of the air duct and grabs Lee. And then Andy Law arrives and kind of just saves the day.
Yeah, they have their fight scene.
Yeah, which even in like the muscle suit, it's just like he's not like encumbered by it, but it's definitely like very obvious. Like even the people he's fighting are like they're not like big roid up guys basically, but
it's just like how he just climbing the thing. It's like very like it's not about like that's what I appreciate. It's like it's more like this movie's not about that necessarily. Like to watch these powers.
Oh, definitely.
Or like the fights, even though it is cool how he like ties them up with
Well, I think the tying it up is actually a big part of it too, because he does like both the people he like captures, he does like trap.
Yeah, he does
basically like you could say like he's trapped in his body, like in this body also. Okay. Because he does get rid of his body at the end, obviously, whenever he like accepts basically himself again. But yeah, it is a great scene because he saves her by doing that, and then the cops come back. And it's a great. I love this. I love like the cop just like looking at the man like just hanging there, and then he just like is about to hit him with the gun, and Andy Law just stops him like this, and just like he just stares at him, and the cop just kind of like you can tell like hits the cop, like oh I'm definitely going overboard basically, because he just looks around at everything, and then he just like lowers the gun, and Andy Law gets arrested, and he's like oh do I get a reward?
He's like even though I do I still get the reward?
But after that, it cuts to Andy in a cell again, and he's doing like just some handstands, and then we get some like cool ass shots. Like these are just like really inventive shots, I guess, of just like him looking at her from down below, and then we just see like some upside down shots also, which are cool. But he ends up like he doesn't see the Japanese soldier behind her anymore, so he's like really happy and he smiles, which leads him to pommel horsing on like one of the random guys in there. He's like, oh, let me do a pommel horse, and pretty fucking cool. But he gets released. The next, you could say maybe the same day, I guess. And this is another of the scenes where it's just like the male cop asking, like, what would have happened if I had beat the prisoner or the man in custody. And then Andy just says the outcome is dependent on the decision you make. And then he just leaves it at that, basically. Before getting taken out of the police precinct. But this is kind of, it's not exactly, it's kind of where the movie changes, I guess. Not fully, but it definitely gets more spiritual at this moment because it cuts to Lee at the Buddhist temple for the first time. I think it's just the Grotto Temple is what they call it. And she's talking with one of the monks there, and the monk is basically just giving her the story of why.
This is where you can feel really messy because this jumps straight here. Where you said the movie changes, but it doesn't give you any warning.
No.
Andy Lau's arrested, and all of a sudden she's it's a new time. You're supposed to just assume it's time has changed.
Time has changed. Yeah, time has
changed, and now she's asking about what his past life was.
What led to him being in Hong Kong, basically.
Yeah. And that's where we get these great shots of him meditating with the.
Bro, the sun and moon shot is so good. That's my favorite shot from this entire part.
Oh my god.
There are some great shots of just the moon being in the background though, really high up, and then a not obviously daytime shot, but it's dusk kind of, you could say, and the moon's just hanging there in the background. I love it, but yeah, basically the story is that just Sunko killed Andy Law's girlfriend. Which, he's a monk, he shouldn't have a girlfriend anyway, but whatever. And whenever he did that, after Andy Law wasn't able to find him, he, in his rage, accidentally killed a sparrow, an innocent sparrow. And he sat looking at the sparrow and meditating for 7 days, and this is whenever we get that shot, obviously, of the sun and the moon. And it was at this time that he could see karma. And then one of the other master monks there was oh, he can see karma, I didn't know that. So, that was basically just, Andy Law and this guy, and basically this one master knew that. And he was oh, I didn't know that. And the other master said, yes, he can see karma. He can see karma. It must be very painful for him.
Yeah.
And it does make you think about that. If you could see karma, it would be,
exactly.
It would be very painful.
I mean, that's why I said that quote, the Diary of a Country Priest.
Exactly.
We wouldn't be able to live if we knew. How entwined good and evil were.
Yes. How intertwined our lives are in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that scene, it cuts to Andy Law being basically the heel of a boxing match, of this fake boxing match. Very funny scene, obviously. They call him Biggie Monster. But obviously the CID lays there at the end whenever he gets knocked out, and he sees the Japanese soldier again, so he knows that he didn't change anything basically from helping before.
Also, this is another I just want to point out all the time we see repetitions in Johhnie To because it's basically almost every movie that's how you know we've come to the halfway point or whatever, because now he's repeating the beginning, you know, where he thought he's changed all these things, but no, it's the same exact thing as the beginning of the movie, you know.
Yeah.
Even from the where he thinks she's real now, but all of a sudden it's still an undercover to he thought he's changed, but he still sees her have the, like you said, the past lives.
Yeah.
He hasn't changed anything. Or has he? I mean, like you said, he still has, but he's not seen it in these.
He's not seen it yet. You could say. Yeah. He can't change fate, but he can at least make it better for the next time. You could say, or at least that's what she's doing. But I do like how big Maddie is because he's just fuming basically in the locker room. You could say, and the other boxer is just taunting him and shit. And then he just punches the lockers really hard, and they explode. But now we have the next scene of this other basically superhero villain / wuxia criminal, just this cat burglar that can crawl on walls and shit, crazy stuff. The CID are there, it's a trap or whatever, but Lee ends up falling off the roof and getting saved by Big again. And it's at this moment, I actually really do like this shot where he's where she's falling, because I feel like we've seen this in a Hitchcock movie recently. No, I'm just kidding. Just the fall down, and her reaching up. But but whenever he saves her, he does see the Japanese soldier again below, kind of just disappear into ash. So he thinks he did it again, basically. He thinks he actually changed fate again this time. They go back up. He catches. He basically tells her "Oh, same agreement as last time. I'll catch the guy, and then you act like nothing ever happened. We don't know each other." And so he catches the guy, traps him in the fucking satellite dish. Cool scene, honestly.
Yeah.
And
she says, "Because it only took you 20 minutes this time, I get
1 minute
or 1 minute."
We have 19 hours and 59 minutes left or something. That's what she said. Yeah. And so she's I'll wait for you at the street light.
Yeah.
And then we just get a montage of her waiting at the streetlight for basically the entire 20 hours.
Yeah.
Kind of a really sad scene, honestly. Like, just sad for the movie's, obviously in the movie's context, but
it's not where it's like he's teasing the romance or something.
He is definitely teasing the romance, even though you know that it's not going to happen, or you should know it's not going to happen. Yeah. You should know it's not going to happen, but I didn't know at the very beginning. I was hoping for a happy ending.
I wonder if Luke thought while you're watching.
Because she does admit here, like she likes him.
She does, yeah. She does say that in these scenes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she is introduced as like an important character, which
a
lot of times means that. But I don't know. Like this movie, it threw me for such like a loop that I just didn't even know what was like gonna happen.
That's fair. No, it's true.
Like all of a sudden, this like Catwoman ass person shows up.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like as soon as I'm like, okay, maybe I get it now, and it's like, yeah, that happens. Not a bad thing.
No, definitely not a bad thing. It is at the last 5 minutes that Andy Law does walk up, and they basically just walk together for 5 minutes. It's kind of it's simultaneously sweet and somber because like she's walking as if like this is the only thing that matters to her basically. Is being with him at this moment, and he at this time, because this is whenever she's saying like, "Oh, I'm so lucky that I have this life. I've been promoted. I have you like looking after me, essentially."
Yeah.
And then Andy Law basically says like, "You're the one that I'm trying to keep from dying on this, on all these things, because you're the one I've been seeing the karma for." And she doesn't really know how to react, honestly, and you really wouldn't. That's something I completely buy in this. Like, she really doesn't know how to react because she's like, oh my god, like. So I think she literally says, so what you mean is I was a Japanese soldier in my past life, and since I killed many people, I have to pay for it in this life.
Yes.
And then she was like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And Andy Law is just like, and she was like, because she ends up saying like, how is that fair? And Andy Law says, I saw karma. I knew it was fair, but I could no longer be a monk.
Yeah, he's like, I looked at Dead Sparrow.
Yeah.
I saw karma. I knew it was fair, but no longer was a monk. That's interesting.
It's an interesting thing to say because you can definitely like. It's weird because like it's in some way like karma definitely is fair. You could say. But in a certain sense, if you're looking at it just from a purely human's perspective, where it's like we're our individuals, like you're like, why should I be punished for something like my past life did whenever I had no control over that?
Yeah.
Because you think you're a unique person, basically. But
yeah, exactly.
But I guess you could say the last half of this movie is basically Andy Karma coming to grips that karma is fair, because maybe he doesn't actually think that. Maybe he just says that in this moment, but
or it's like he knew it was fair, but he said like he didn't have the ability to maybe believe in it. You know, like as a mom.
Like he still had that hatred, basically.
Yes, exactly. Or is like trying to ignore it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting thing he says there.
Yeah, because I mean, directly after he says that and leaves, it cuts to one of my favorite scenes, which I brought up before, which is him just eating with his masters, just at these like street vendors. I love these two guys, these two old geezers, but
no, it's like they're like just they don't. You can tell they don't get to eat this food that much.
Exactly.
And he's like excited just to have them eat it.
Well, one of the masters goes over and goes like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
You just cook meat in there. How can you cook our vegetables in there or whatever?" And he's like, "Let me take over." He starts cooking everything, but we do get some good quotes in this that I think I mentioned before also, where it's just like he's like Andy's just asking the master if he was right for what he did, if he was basically like right for saving her. And then the master's basically saying like, oh, it is a good thing that you're saving her, but she does have too much sin, so that like you can't change anything. Like it's a good thing that you also left her, like basically. Like it's a good thing that you did save her, but it's also a good thing that you're leaving her now because like you can't change anything. She has too much sin, basically. And this is at the moment where he says like, Master Wen, who is her true savior? And then he responds, it's you. And he's like, me, or is it the girl herself? And then he says, why did you help her? Because I saw her goodness. She's accumulated good deeds for herself. Give her some time. She's working on it. And then like Andy Law just sees them off. But that's what I was trying. That's the quote I guess I was like misremembering before. But she's accumulating good deeds for herself. Give her some time. So it's like maybe you could say if she had enough time, she maybe could have changed her fate. Although probably not. Like this is more so me thinking like she's changing her fate for her future lives almost. Like she's obviously not going to achieve Nirvana this go around. But maybe next time she will. I don't know. But
It seems like he might be making that kind of point.
Yeah, because Andy, like, he's satisfied with that answer because I think it's just like he's smoking a cigarette as they leave and he's just like, keep on going, Lee, or something like that. Then we get just like one of the funniest cuts in the movie, I think, because directly after this very like religious scene, it just cuts to Andy Lau and like a group of bodybuilders just like posing in front of some mirrors that they pass by, and I'm just like, what the fucking hell, man? Like,
no, he loves these surprising cuts of like
his body too.
Like that's why he knows it's funny.
He definitely does.
It's just like after this really deep scene with
his masters.
Yeah, with his masters, and all of a sudden just like
they literally just walk past a mirror and he goes back because he's like, oh yeah, I look so good in here. But this is also the kind of the scene that we talked about before, where Lee kind of just drives by and sees him and gets out, and she's dressed completely different. He gets very disappointed because he's like, I can't believe that you're living with, like, that you're doing this. Like, what happened to you being a cop? And she says, why not enjoy life a little if I'm going to die anyway? Am I right?
Yeah.
And he just gets kind of like really, and then she like just runs off, and you can definitely tell that affected Andy Lau. But after that, it directly cuts to the bodybuilding competition. So we don't even really have time to think about if this is even like true what she said. But the bodybuilding competition is kind of going on. Like, Lee comes and watches with her crew, and it's not until the free posing section where we get the reveal that she is still an undercover cop. Like, that's the reason that they're all dressed like this. She's like, don't you recognize those people? They were the exact ones from your bust earlier. But he ends up obviously winning the bodybuilding competition after doing some crazy ass flips, but wowing the judges. But then after he wins, they have a dinner together afterwards, in which this is where more of just like the religious like talk is basically coming in, because she's just asking him, does everything exist because of karma? And she's like, what did this chicken do to be slaughtered? And Andy Lau just kind of like, he's just kind of like playing it off like, oh, as like jokes, basically, like, oh, this guy was a drug dealer, and this is his wife, and this is his mistress. But she ends up asking, like, who did the Japanese soldier kill? Did he slaughter many people? And then Andy shakes his head yes. And then she said, for any event that occurs, another will follow as a result of the first. And then they stay silent for a little bit. And she says, you know what? I couldn't stop crying after what you told me that night. I couldn't go to work the next day. I kept thinking, what's this got to do with me? And then it dawned on me, if I have to die, I should die for a good cause. People are killed for no reason, and the killer always remain at large. If I go searching for the killer, he will have to kill me. But this will lure him out of hiding. Then we'll have a chance to nail him. I've made up my mind. If I have to die, this is the best way to go. So it's just like she's basically come to terms. She's accepting her fate in this moment, even though Andy Lau's not. He's not accepting basically this yet, you could say. Like, he has talked about with his masters, like, she does have too much sin, but even, like, we see directly after this, basically, at what I call the true turning point, like, he didn't really believe that. Like, he thought that he would still be able to save her, basically, but they do spend 1 minute walking together as, like, a song plays, a really sweet song, and Lee just tells Andy bye for real this time, and then freeze frames on her, and it goes to, like, gray. And then
because this is the last time we're going to see her alive, too.
It's the last time that we're going to see her alive in the I guess, present time, you could say. Because,
like, it's cool how he's going to do this kind of...
It's a crazy cut.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard cut to just Andy Lau running into the temple.
Yes.
Like, after that, so... Yeah. And obviously at the temple, he's learned that Tsuko has most likely killed her. At least that's what the master is saying. He says she tried her best, but as you said, she carried too much sin. Andy gets the camera from the cops, which literally, like, Johhnie To multiple times in this movie, even though maybe audiences don't want to believe it, he's showing you that she is dead, front and center.
like I'm glad you said that the audience won't believe it, because even this little thing of, okay, we have some, like, this monk that's not a really important character telling a character that, off screen she died. So, like, what's the number one rule of movies? If you don't see a body, they aren't dead. Yeah. Especially if it's a main character. So, like, even then, you're like, oh, she's not going to be dead. You know, like, he's going to go save her in this forest. No.
Yeah.
And so that's make all this, like, this stuff even more, like, it's, like, you know, more brutal to watch in terms of this, like, he's kind of, like, it makes you feel that anger of, like, him going to the forest, and he's going to, like, it's almost like you're having to get over the kind of, like, yourself of why you want her to live, you know, but, like, you can't accept karma yourself, even as a movie watcher. Exactly. And that's almost like what I'm saying is, like, the death itself too. It's like, we want all the the normal stuff about life and karma and stuff. But once we get to the third act, final, don't worry, the screenwriter will write some stuff in and we'll be fine. You know, but it's like that's not going to happen in this movie, even when he's teasing it.
Which Johhnie To's, I mean, obviously his entire filmography is kind of about that.
No,
he does not do things.
Or it's very rare. That's why I read that quote from that lady who did the retrospective on Johhnie To, where she says most his movies have cope and triumph, but mostly just cope, because but coping, that's what Buddhists, not in like kind of a negative way. But this idea of like you can't change reality necessarily, but that doesn't mean you should give up on it.
Yeah, there's one movie that we obviously aren't going to be doing on this podcast because he didn't direct it, but it's called Expect the Unexpected, and in that movie, it literally ends basically with everyone dying. And Johhnie To said that movie did have a negative reaction to that ending. And Johhnie To said, that was not my intent. My intent was to show people that they need to come to fact with the terms of life, basically. Mm-hmm. It's more so a beautiful he thought himself it was a beautiful ending because it showed how life goes, essentially. But I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely something just with Johhnie To for sure.
I mean, even that title alone is a great title for Johhnie To's whole career.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he produced the movie.
Yeah, no, it's one of the Milky Way movies. It's one of his Milky Way movies. So he was one of the producers, but didn't direct it. But yeah, we literally watch her die on this footage, and she I guess before that we do see the scene of her saying to the camera if I'm destined to die, I want to help Big capture Sunko, and that's why she's doing this. But he obviously goes off in the mountains after watching the video, and him running into the mountains is cut with Lee walking through them the week before. So this is more of the cross cutting where it's just showing them going through the same, maybe not the same emotions, but going through the same steps to come out to the same place. You could maybe say, they're going through different emotions, but they're going to end up in the same place.
That's why it's really interesting where he's kind of just the editing is actually it's more intricate than you think.
It is
kind of going back and forth.
The majority of it is on Lee, I will say, at this moment. So. Because we do have there are some obviously amazing shots, but then we do have the cave/hell scene, which is awesome. It literally, she says this place is so creepy. I could never understand how someone could live here 5 years or whatever. This place literally looks like hell, and then she slips and falls down the hole, and then she barely saves herself and runs out. But we also get the shot of her just standing atop the rock with the moon in the background as those little flower petals are kind of falling around her. Great shit, man. Love that shit. But after that, it cuts back to Andy, who hears her ringtone playing in the forest again, or on the mountainside, and then he sees the Japanese soldier again, and he just kind of follows it, and he sees obviously a mound of dirt just dug, and he digs, and he sees a head. This was kind of crazy. The first time I watched it, I really wasn't expecting. On the video footage, we did see him smash her head in, and then we saw some cutting. So I was like, is he beheading her? I don't know, because we never see if he actually did or not. But then this scene, it is confirmed. He pulls her body out, and she doesn't have a head, and he freaks out.
No, see, that's what it's it's confirmed. He's teasing all this time. Oh no, there's no way.
There's no way he would do this.
Yeah,
no, if he did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. Even when you see it, you're like, oh, maybe it's not her or something. Your movie kind of reactions are just start clicking.
Yeah.
How would she actually end up being alive still? Because this is a movie,
Yeah, and I mean, he obviously has to find the head, so he keeps on. He does look up, and he sees the Japanese soldier again. He slowly walks to a tree, pulls back a branch, and it's literally a jump scare horror scene moment where it's just her head staring back at him.
Yeah.
And then it's a kind of callback to the beginning again, where he's just in a rage, swinging his staff around how he was whenever he killed Dennis Sparrow, just screaming for Sunko to come out, and then we obviously see him come out and flee, and then Andy goes after him. And this is where the movie gets real crazy, especially on our first watch, because they run into that same cave that Lee had been in that she said looks like hell. They run in, and they're basically teleported to the Grotto Temple again with all these with all the stone statues of Buddha. Mm-hmm. And you just hear, I love hearing just the clacking of the staff come out as like the other Andy walks out. Basically, he's like, "Oh, who are you?" But there are just some insane shots. But it's basically just like he literally meets himself down here, and they have to fight because it's at this moment I still don't really know because like later on in the movie it does look like Sunko killed Lee. But in this scene, obviously, like Andy Law's character is telling him, like, "Oh, I killed her," which I mean, I guess he did maybe in the sense because like he did meet her, and that's the reason she's doing this is for him. So he is technically the reason she dies. So maybe he does have to overcome that too, which that would actually kind of make sense also.
That's interesting.
But one of the more interesting things here is just kind of, I guess, the duality of man. Because both these are obviously the same person.
Yeah.
Big, the one in Big is the one in obviously the big muscle costume. The other Andy is the normal one. I'll call it. It's just going to be the other Andy. But Big says he asks like, "Can you see karma?" Or the other Andy asks Big, "Can you see karma?" And Big says, he says, "Yes, I accepted karma, but could not remain a monk, so I left." And then the other Andy says he also sees karma and he accepted it, but he exacts justice on what he sees basically. So it's just like two different ways of looking at karma, you could say, because like one is literally enacting the justice you could say, like you could easily say should be enacted because this person did something like this in their past life. They deserve to die. And then the other one is like, no, they don't deserve to die. You just like, I accept karma as the fact of life, so I'm not going to do anything to stop what happens, but I'm also not going to actually commit the crime, basically. But I don't know. That's just something I was thinking. I don't know.
Because I forgot the other guy says that, or the other Andy Law says that.
Yeah. There's just a lot going on in these scenes. So we do get the amazing scene of them fighting together.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Like I do kind of like how it starts because he kind of basically shows Andy Law the future of him killing Sunko in the valley that we'll see later on. And he just says, "Feels great seeing justice served." And he just keeps on like slapping his neck, basically just telling Andy to fight him. And the action scene between them two is really good and it's pretty unique because they're all just taking the same exact blows because they are obviously the same person.
I mean, it's the same fight we've already seen.
Literally the same fight we've already seen
with the Indian, like basically the cycle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's that exact same concept.
It is.
That's what he's breaking free of. I think.
Yeah. I like that.
Because he says, like, remember when he's imitating the other two people fighting, they're like, oh, they were trained by the same master, so they're basically doing the same exact moves.
Yeah.
And, like, you can say they're doing the same thing here, too.
I like that. I mean, the scene really gets good, though, whenever they, like, basically smash each other out of the cave and into the open with all the stone Buddhas around them. Johhnie To does a great job at filming these, also, or whoever the DP was, because it's just, like, a lot of low-angle shots.
Yes.
Just looking up at the Buddha. Basically, like, he's witnessing you.
He's, like, this tall figure in the background just watching this fight happen again. You know?
Like, it's very prominent. Like, the Buddha is watching what happens here.
Yes.
Like, and that's something that I know that I don't know if I've said on this podcast, but I've raved kind of about spring, summer, fall, winter, and spring. Kind of doing the same thing of just, like, clearly showing the Buddha watching the suffering of the world. But that's the great thing about Buddhism is like he watches it, but he doesn't intervene. It's up to the human to like actually change what's happening. But because that's another thing with Johhnie To is like even though like this fate is predestined, Big can still change. Like he himself can change. So and maybe change some other fates along the way. But I do love this scene because obviously it's just like the same scene played twice because it's just like. Big Andy holding the broken staff up to little Andy and staring directly into his eyes and just basically saying like, I understand now. And he just sits back. And then we get the same scene of the other Andy just like almost killing Big Andy. And he just like stops whenever he looks at him. Yeah. And then we just get the great scene of just them sitting across from each other. And I think this one is this one is like the other Andy that just says, or I honestly don't know which one says this, but one of them says, "You are the Buddha in my hearts," and then the other Andy says, "Evil thoughts can set off horrible consequences. Today Sunko killed Lee. Tomorrow you will kill Sunko. There will be no turning back. And then Big says, this is karma. Today's actions will lead to tomorrow's consequences. Nothing in the world can change this. Buddha only preaches one thing, cultivate wholesome actions. And then the other Andy disappears. And then we just have like Big Andy saying it with the stone Buddha above him, which is amazing. Directly after that scene, it cuts to him looking at Lee's severed head again. And then we get the full scene. We get to actually watch the full scene of her getting murdered by Sunko. Which this scene, it is kind of crazy that I still don't really know why he put it in here again. Maybe just to make sure you know she's dead. I don't know.
And it's like very kind of horror. Like it's from the video camera footage.
It is
like this Bigfoot kind of like.
It is. It's from the Bigfoot, but I also like it's like the camera watching the camera though too. Like because we're watching it through the camera. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
No, he definitely. It's almost like this idea of reliving a past life, because like we've watched she's trying to relive his like this idea of going to the forest to get revenge.
Yes.
And then we're watching her relive, and then he's also kind of reliving her life. Basically, this idea of how actions create actions, you know?
Yeah.
Almost in just one little forest. Consequences. Yeah, consequences. Just even this like we've seen 3 different versions of this forest already. You know?
We have.
This forest quest. That's where he like. This is when he ends up seeing Sunko, though, right?
Yeah, so it cuts back to him like removing his clothes and putting on his old robes again that he just picks up from where they were left sitting whenever he took them off at the beginning. And then it cuts to the scene where we saw the other Andy kill Sunko, but this time it's obviously present day, you could say, 2008. I guess it's not present day because this came out in 2003. This is technically 5 years later in the movie's timeline, but Andy's just kind of like sitting there at the exact same position. Sunko comes out and he just asks him, what year is it? And then Andy says 2008. And then he just kind of embraces Sunko as he's crying because it's been 10 years since he's been in the wilderness, apparently. So it's just like, I still don't really know how to read this. Like, it's definitely a journey of like inner salvation, basically, of like coming to terms with your own hatred and getting over that, kind of, to me.
To where you can forgive this guy.
Yes, forgive this guy that killed both your loves, basically.
Exactly.
I don't know. But yeah, the ending of this movie is just back in the village again with the news that he found Sunko. And they walk in. We get great shots of Andy shaving his face. He's completely shaved now. He takes off his clothes because they give him new ones, and he's obviously doesn't have the big suit on anymore. So it's like he's freed of that. He's freed of that shackle, you could say. And I do kind of love it because he just takes the cop's cigarettes and lighter, and he lights it and gives it back to the cop, and then he just walks off. And honestly, I really love this ending, like these last few shots, because it's just Andy walking through the flower petals / I don't really know what these things are. But it's like interposed with, or superimposed with the girl, like Lee standing on the rock again.
Oh yeah.
Catching that one flower petal and holding her hand before we just see Andy freeze frame with him just smoking the cigarette with all the flowers around him, and that is the end of Running on Karma. So great movie. Kleenex ad after it, too. No. But yeah, that'll be Running on Karma. We will take a short break and come back with Throwdown. And we are back from the break. one host down, sadly, because Luke has a lot of life shit going on right now, you know?
I mean, he wasn't feeling good.
He also wasn't feeling good, but he has a lot of... I mean, it is like basically midterms in college or whatever, time for first tests, but... But me and Danny are back to talk about Johhnie To's, honestly, one of his greatest movies, honestly, his masterpiece, Throwdown. Released in 2004, I think. And honestly, to this point, I really do think Throwdown's my favorite Johhnie To movie, I will say. That's only come with multiple viewings, because the first time I watched it, I did really, really like it. But it was more so I was vibing with it, and vibing kind of what he was just kind of doing with this basically evolution of the action genre, you could say. Because this is an action movie in air quotes. Like, a lot of the things that happen in this happen in like his movies with guns in them as well. But he's just doing it with judo, and just in a more like really, it's like really subtle, I feel like, just like the action in this. I don't know. And it's really beautiful to watch. But only after multiple viewings have I like come to think that this might be my favorite, just because it is such a just sweet movie about overcoming depression and basically getting back up again after life throws you down, literally. So,
yes.
But let me ask you your thoughts, Danny, because I know that you do love this. I know that you do like this movie a lot too. You did say earlier that these are probably going to be the two best movies we do. So,
no, yeah, especially I'm glad I watched this like I think a month ago, and then I rewatched this for the podcast, and I'm glad I did that, because I mean, going in, I knew Johhnie To is really better on rewatches, because like the first one you kind of just have to let it flow over you, and then kind of put the ideas together, maybe on rewatches.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like I kind of avoided this for a while. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I fall into like the action Johhnie To trap, and like this one is like the judo one. But no, like it is about judo, but it's kind of like it's not a very action movie. You know, it's more about, like you said, that those themes are very relevant. Just like it's almost like why people do judo, or like in a sport. I think that's why it's a really great sports movie too.
It is,
because it's like almost like just that about almost like how something like that can help you get over things. You know, just like by moving. And I'm a big believer in that. But no, I really love this movie. I watched the behind the scenes, or not, Criterion, the extras they have with the interview Johhnie To did about this movie and him.
Yeah, I still haven't
watched it. It's like 40
this.
minutes. I really recommend it, because I'm going to read some of the quotes. But I guess one way to start from this movie is like backwards, like how he ends it.
Yeah.
With the dedication to Kurosawa.
Yes, most definitely.
Like, obviously there's that character bringing up the Sanshiro Sugata, like, a reference, I think, throughout the movie.
Yes.
And a Chinese audience would have known, like, more about this kind of references, or the Hong Kong audience, more references he's talking about, too. Because apparently there was, like, a TV show that was also...
Yeah, it was a 1970s TV show
from
first Sanshiro Sugata.
But yeah, just, like, the kind of... like almost like the deeper themes in the movie, and then, like the way Kurosawa kind of like uses his deeper themes through the kind of storytelling, like the genre storytelling, I guess, in a way, kind of reminds me of Kurosawa. But it also feels like, I think honestly the most after especially watching that interview too, and like rewatching this movie, like the most Kurosawa aspect of it is maybe just like how personal it is, for even how stylistic it is and how amazing great style it is. Like, it's all through very personal movie, you know. I think that's why Johhnie To says it's his favorite movie too.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
Honestly, some of it feels even very like, maybe even personal to his own life that I can't tell necessarily. But no, I really like this movie too. I guess let me read because they asked him the question why they homage to Kurosawa, and he says, "To me, the most important thing is that Kurosawa can put moral values into his films and present them in the form of storytelling. Also, I think that as a director, his skills, were very strong, and he was single-minded in his work." And then he goes on to say, "I think he thought very deeply. He must have felt very intensely to be able to shoot this way. I think most importantly, he put these theories of living, his philosophy, into his films, and they are well made. I also think about films with this mindset. I always think, whether it be in A Hero Never Dies or Expect the Unexpected or Running Out of Time 2, things I want to talk about the most are the situations and events that people have to face while living in this world.
Yes.
I think like that's also like why I say the personal part. Like it feels very down to earth. The kind of like it's weird. Like it's also a very romantic movie. Like some of the quotes there's another quote I'm gonna read, but like I'll read it once we're in the movie. But like he describes how this is a very romantic movie. Like you can't take things like literally a lot of times, you know, and like the certain things that happen. But it's like because that's when the movie becomes more about the ideas, you know, about like overcoming depression. You said,
yeah.
So that's why I say it's very interesting because it's like it feels down to earth. It's something like about their feelings and stuff, but it's also very romantic. Like the way she steals the money and like we'll talk about that scene and stuff. Like the whole slow motion running and like it doesn't feel real, you know.
That is the first time he smiles in an entire movie. So
exactly. No, exactly, dude. No, but did you? I know you already said you loved it. But what was specifically about it? Did you?
No, yes, I also love how personal this is to Johhnie To because you could easily tell that just from watching this. If you watched any of his other movies, even like all of his movies feel personal to some extent, honestly, because like all of his movies have this like philosophy about life that he's trying to show you. At least like his philosophy on life, you could say, or the world's philosophy on life, even in a greater sense, especially like Hong Kong's philosophies in certain time periods. But I do want to like read a quote from him real quick about kind of why he admires Kurosawa, I guess, because in the book that I was reading by Stephen Tao, he basically just asks him like, why do you admire Kurosawa? Is it like his techniques, like rain, slow motion, etc.? Johhnie To says, I don't admire his technique so much as I admire his philosophy towards life. All those things are visual. They must supplement the drama or what the final thought is. I admire Kurosawa's films for his view of life. As a director, what is important is how a film looks at humanity or how it prods the audience to look back at man. He said he then goes on to say like Kurosawa's films are humanist, which I can easily say that about Johhnie To's too. Like he makes humanist films, I believe, as well. Because like he looks at the state of man and kind of what society is doing to at least who he's talking about in the story. And he does show, especially in this movie, one reason why I love it so much, he shows, I think, his philosophy on life, which is even though life can obviously throw you down, there is a beauty in just simply living on.
Yes. I mean, like, it's funny you said, because the exact quote he says in this interview, he says, the thing I want to talk about most in the film is that even the most successful person can fall down. They have to get back on their feet and start again. And that's what I want the film to say. Maybe some people think this is nothing special, but I disagree. And I think that's actually going to be the beauty of this movie, because like if you're listening to this now, you're like, okay, this kind of seems kind of corny, almost. But you have to watch the movie to be like how like down this guy really is. And honestly, like even his triumph is not like an amazing triumph, you know. It's not like some saving the world triumph.
No.
It's like a very realistic kind of thing, you know. It's almost just him accepting the life that he has to live now. It's not something like unrealistic, like almost like kind of continuation I was talking about with the last episode with the Run on Karma. It's not this like crazy ending that doesn't earn itself, you know. It's like it's a triumph that also still is very earned in the movie.
It does.
Even the romance. That's why I say it's like very interesting dichotomy between this like realism that we feel like as we're watching it, of like it could be us like in our situations, but also it's a very romantic movie. You know, it's not realistic in that terms of like what we're watching on screen. You know, even the fight scenes and stuff are like dance.
They're very symbolic, basically.
Yes, exactly. And they're just like they're so like almost like released. Like especially the second fight that happens all of a sudden. Like that's when the movie changed for me even the first time watching it, because I'm like it's kind of like you know Johnnie To was like it's really slow. You don't know what's happening, and then when the fight scene when he finally decides to fight him for the first time, it's like everything clicks.
Yes, you know? Yes, dude.
And there's like nothing that really leads. There's no like conversation or something leading up to that point.
Yeah. No, on the thing about like basically this movie like earning it at the end without like some movies whenever they have like sentimentality or heartfelt messages, they really make sure you know it.
Yes.
This one you kind of just have to watch it and you just feel it. And Stephen Tao in his book, he actually puts it like he says this: To has made an inductive masterpiece with a lot of heart, but without much sentimentality. So that the viewer is forced to search for cause and effect. the connections between action and emotion. In short, To has expressed an intellectual response to crisis and action. The prevalent tone of his exercises, which he's talking about some of his other movies that he's kind of like made in this vein, which Running Across is another one, but...
Interesting. I think a part of this is also something I talked about with Satyajit Ray and maybe in Revette too, like this kind of noir tradition of like not having villains.
Oh, yes, I was going to bring that up too.
Okay, because I have this quote that he says is... I was going to skip some, but actually I'm going to read the whole thing because I think it's good. He says, "In the film, what I want to say is that I do not need a villain in the film, nor did I need to portray how tough the circumstances are. I didn't want that at all. It's up to the audience to think about their own lives in a personal way. Take Louis Ku's character, for example. He will gradually lose his eyesight. It's really tragic, just like a cancer patient. He may have 2 years left to live, or maybe only 1 year. But should he work his way through it? Should he live his life suffering, or should he enjoy it as much as possible? Will he do something meaningful so the rest of his life has more value than it did before? That's the positive way with him. I really hope that I can convey this to the audience. I do not want to write about the pressure the characters would commonly face when in other types of films. I didn't want any antagonists. I wanted the audience to think about what they would do if they had to confront similar difficulties." And I just love that because it's like there's so much tension in the movie, but there's no antagonists. You know, even the antagonists who's like the older
Lee Kong,
yes.
Tony Long. Yeah.
Yes, Tony Long Kai-Fei. Just like you already said his face like in the earlier, like he's like the grizzled kind of old guy. It's kind of
but he's got like a kindness to him. He always has a kindness to him too. Like there's something about his face.
It's I don't want to say goofiness, but it's a good smile. Like it's like kind of like a lightheartedness almost.
Yes.
Like, even like in that movie you're talking about, but. Yeah, that one it's played more to the craziness effect, and this one is more like...
an election it definitely is.
Actually, this one it's more like, I can see him accepting defeat at the end.
Oh, yes.
You know, versus just being like, no, I'm never going to lose, or something like...
To me, his entire, like, face at the end is just me, like... He's just enjoying life, too, like, at this moment. That's kind of what it is. Like, they're both
and he just feels like he's going to have to go back and train.
Yeah. He's like, I can still get better, basically.
Yes, exactly. No, it's honestly, you really need to watch that Criterion. I know already because it's crazy. You can tell how much he's thought about these characters for how little, this is the thing, like, normally a director, if, like, they want to prove that they've spent so much time thinking about these characters on script, like, they want to put it all on screen, and the characters will give all their thoughts on screen. It's like, none of that is there, right? He wants you, the audience, to think about it visually.
Yes.
But then you're watching this interview, you can tell how much detail he's put into like all these characters, and I'm gonna read this quote later about the balloon scene, but like he's talking about like, oh, they're gonna come back years later and reminisce on this balloon scene. It's like so great, you know. No, that's why it's like it's such a, you can tell like there's so much into this movie. Like even little like normally he doesn't play as much sentimental music in his movies at all, but in this movie you get it a lot.
You do. It's nice.
Like it's just like little moments like that because you compared to the rest of the movies, like watching this one, you're like, oh, you can tell, like it's a little different. You know, he's literally usually a little more detached.
Yeah.
Like some of the other ones we'll see, his characters aren't like I said, most of his movies are just about coping versus the triumph part. Yeah. Like this one has like the triumph.
This one does have the triumph. It has in a unique way, obviously.
It does. It's still that's why I said it's not a cheap triumph.
Well, because like. We haven't. I feel like I don't know if we've talked about Johhnie To and his fatalism a lot this series, but he does like a lot of his characters have this like fatalistic nature, like they can't really change their fate. And obviously, like Louis Ko does not change his ultimate fate of losing his eyesight, but he changes how he views that fate, which changes everything for him. So,
no, that's actually really true. And she never
gives up. Either.
She never gives up. And this is another thing that's like with the interview. He says something about like how she, in his eyes, she's not a good singer. Like she's never going to succeed. Basically,
yeah.
You know.
Oh, I can easily see
it's her attitude that. First of all, I love that he never shows that in the movie. So if you wanted to be like, oh, she could succeed, you know, maybe she does. Like you're so hopeful that she's going to go to Japan. But his thing like it's the attitude she has.
Yes.
That's the important part of like. That's what this movie is about, you know. Like that's the kind of influence you can see that she has on his life. You know, this kind of attitude towards life, of like basically not giving up, even if like you're a bad singer and you've been to all these different places already. You can tell there's like this one moment where she's like, "I'm going to go to Japan now," and he's like shaking his head, but he's smiling because he's like, "I just need that," you know, that kind of attitude. It's like a really beautiful moment. There's like a lot of those little moments in this. That's what it takes rewatches because it does go fast. It still has the Johnnie To like
it has
fastness to it. And also like introducing just the characters all of a sudden with no backstory.
No, yeah, well, like, and a lot of these characters they're like goofy as hell too, which I love.
Yes.
So
that's what the romantic nature of talking
Yeah.
about. Like just them stealing the suits later on.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh my god. Yes. No. I mean, one reason why the characters probably like they do stand out, honestly. Like, and even whenever I think back on this movie, because I've seen it 4 times now. Oh. And whenever I think back, I do think of these characters a lot more than most of the Johnnie To movies I've seen. And at least Johnnie To said that might be because it came like the movie was supposed to be a comedy first. And then whenever they were actually making the script, Johnnie To was like, no, this can't be a comedy. And he like changed it completely, but he kept all the characters the same. And because he doesn't tell you anything about them, you're just allowed to like you just have like these little like reveals or just these like little character moments. Like I love the like triad boss or whatever that just always says tea time anytime anything happens. Like whenever he like leaves or shit. I don't know. Like he's funny as hell, but.
Because I love how he's like not that like that's the thing. There's no antagonist, you know. He's the closest thing that comes, but even he's not any threat to the. He even gives the money at one point. He's like
he literally gives.
They're trying to steal. He's like just take some money.
That's whenever they have the costumes on.
That's where it's like he's like Johnnie To's really being like this tension is not with this. You know, this is all funny. Like even you think there's gonna be a tension at the end where they're trying to steal again. He's like no, just take the money. But also you bringing up that guy like with the arcade too, like. Also, like another arcade, and this is honestly maybe one of his best looking movies too.
I think it is
like some of the lighting. It's just in this club. Like every time they're in this club,
it looks so good, dude. No, I literally had that in my notes. I literally had the lighting. Anytime they're in the light, it's called After Hours in ode to Martin Scorsese.
What?
Martin Scorsese's After Hours.
No, wait, what's called After Hours?
The bar itself is called After Hours.
Interesting. They did that after Scorsese.
After Scorsese's movie.
Damn, that makes me want to go rewatch After Hours.
I need to watch it.
A lot of this takes place at night too. I'm wondering if that has some kind of similar theme.
It might, honestly.
It's been so long since I've seen that.
I don't know if I've ever seen After Hours, honestly. So, and if I have, it's been a long ass time.
That's interesting.
But I literally had that in my notes. Like every shot in the bar is the best shot I've ever seen, basically.
Well, this is why I'm kind of disappointed Luke is not here just for this one quote because. They asked him in the interview, why did you shoot with such stylistic lighting? And he said, at the time, I wanted the audience to see only what I wanted them to see. I didn't want them to see things they don't need to see. I don't know why I'm like that. I think of King Hu. When he was making movies, people asked him why he put smoke and fog into his films. Probably because he was a painter. He had a good artistic sense. His answer was that smoke and fog emphasized the things that need to be seen. Never mind the rest. Just like in Chinese paintings. I feel the same way. I don't show things that I don't want to be seen. I only want to show what I want to be seen. So in recent years, I prefer the lighting to be this way. In addition to that, I prefer to be as static as possible. Something moves only if it has to be. Before I wasn't like that. Everything had to be in motion. In the past, I always asked the actors to walk or move. But now I prefer things to be more static. I think that's another thing too, like, especially with these movies came back years.
Yeah, they did.
He's starting to get way more static with the frame, like the way the character will be in like there's like so much darkness, and then there'll be a character in the back and the lighting, and then a character like all three of them will be lit perfectly, and everything else is so dark, and then the way they go in and out of focus based on who he wants to show, it's kind of amazing.
It is,
and I'll point out some moments too while we're watching the movie. Just all the different ways he's lighting this, because he didn't storyboard. That's another thing. Like I think I pointed that out last week. He didn't storyboard and stuff. Like he wasn't that deep, like a plan in his head. But like he would have the shots in his head ready. On set. Like and that's what they're going to shoot exactly. He would know what he wants to shoot. But he has like that experimentation of like how he wants to do it. Like once they're there, on set before he's like actually planning.
Yeah, I think I read that quote from him last week that says, like, literally, like, the reason he directs, like, whenever, like, he is co-directing with someone, the reason is because they don't have this vision in their head of what the movie needs to look like, basically. And so that's whenever he comes in, because he has that vision in his head of what the movie is going to need to look like without having to storyboard or anything like that, so...
No. That's why it's just, like, it has this, like, really unique sense of, like... That's what, like, it feels like real time in a way, like, they're, like, kind of, like just kind of hanging out in this club, but at the same time, it feels really beautiful, like almost like these like very perfectly composed shots at the same time, like kind of this mix of both. I don't know,
no, I mean a lot of this movie, like this is literally just like his face, Louis Ko's face is in shadow so much of this movie, and I feel like that's for the reason that whenever he comes out of his depression, you can Johhnie To starts showing him like in the light way more.
Yes.
Like his face is just fully in the light now, and like it's kind of like it makes me think of just like a journey through the heart. Like that's what this After Hours is literally his heart basically. Like this is like what he is on the inside, just a guy drunk in a bar.
Yeah.
Like.
But like we don't know why he's drunk.
But we don't know. Yeah.
He knows. And no, I think that's a really good reading too, because then you can see these two people as aspects of him, including the blind person who actually is him. You know, we learn that later.
Yeah.
But that would make actually more sense in the story-wise too, of him saying that. Like, instead of just being totally coincident. But Johhnie To believes it's coincidence like that. Like,
he does.
It's everything's
that's
a movie.
big.
You know, everything's
that's
there's a screenwriter behind. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not that big a deal for that to happen in a Johhnie To movie. But it's still really surprising when it does, when you learn that.
Yeah.
But it's like not as crazy as like if I like Nolan did or something. But
well, one of the best things about this movie is you can watch it and never even know he was blind. Like
actually, that's true.
Because
that's
the first time I watched this, I didn't know he was blind.
No.
I'm sorry. Like,
well, I remember like thinking kind of.
I was thinking like, why is he holding onto his shoulder at the end? Like I remember thinking that.
No, you definitely can just be like he overcomes because of like almost like he's like when he's giving that speech, but he's like kind of laughing too. You could see him as actually telling us a joke.
Yes, because it happened before.
Yeah, exactly.
This is another repetition that Johhnie To likes to do. So
no, but it does like knowing that he was blind this time watching it.
Yeah,
it does give a lot of like there's a lot of shots that are out of focus in the light. Just like cool Johhnie To lighting.
Yes.
But it's like but actually. Like there's a shot where it'll cut to it cuts to him Tony training in the light like with one arm.
Yes.
When he's like just him lit, but it's like out of focus, and we don't know it's from it's from his perspective.
Yes.
Louis Ko's perspective. But then we see him watching, and the first time you don't think like, oh, he's blind. That's why he's like barely can see him. But then if he is blind, make all these out of focus shots.
It makes him make sense.
But yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And then when he's like stumbling to the hospital and stuff, there's like so many like David Wardwell. He also had a little extra on Throwdown on Criterion.
Oh damn! Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Where he talks about it.
Because I know he definitely praised Throwdown in the section that we read on the on the
you should definitely watch it. But yeah, he pointed that out too. Damn, actually, I forgot what I was just about to say.
The stumbling around the hospital.
Yes. He points out how like there's little hints once you do know, but they're only little hints. You know, he never like you said, like you can watch this whole movie and not actually know.
Yes.
You know, he makes this point where most movies have these things have known unknowns, where like yes, there's something unknown in the movie, but we don't know. But yes, there's something unknown for the characters, but we know what the unknown is they're searching for. But he says in Johhnie To's movies, there are unknown unknowns, where he says things come to light that we didn't even know were an issue. And that's what this blindness is.
Yes.
Like, we didn't know this whole movie. There was this huge plot thing, like,
yes,
what
exactly.
the whole movie. But that just comes, it's just like, that's why I said that. That's the unknown of Johhnie To. I was like, damn, that's a good way to put it. Cause it's
that
like,
is a good way to put it.
But yeah. I recommend that too on the Criterion. This is perfect timing for this series, though, because they have this Johhnie To...
it is. They have the Johhnie To Essentials. Or
Essentials, whatever is going on right now. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you're ready, we can go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, I think so.
So it opens with like Kurosawa-esque credits, obviously. Just the kanji over the black, but we do get the main theme of the Sanshiro Sugata TV show from the 1970s playing as we watch the master practicing in this grass field that we will not see again until the very end of the movie. And this is like obviously even though it's the very first shot, and it's kind of just like, maybe you could think it's just like a throwaway beautiful shot, because it kind of is, it really brings the movie, at least in like, maybe a Buddhist sense, or kind of like full circle, because like Louis Ko literally becomes his master at the end also, like whenever he beats Li Kong in the forest, so, I don't know, it's just like, He might have had that on the mind whenever he had this whenever he opened it like this, but it also cuts to them in Hong Kong handing out flowers and stuff. But then we immediately cut to the bar, and it's Aaron Kwok betting the big bouncer at the front $100 that he can throw him. And then we just get some. There are going to be a lot of times that I say we're going to get great shots in this movie because it's basically every shot, but the shots outside the bar just as good as some of the shots inside the bar too. Like this street that they're on is amazing. But Kwok wins easily, obviously, and takes just like I love the little looks that this like that the big fat bouncer has whenever he gets thrown like at both times. It's hilarious, but he goes in. He's looking for Zeto Bo, which is obviously going to be Louis Ko's character, and he is just drunk out of his mind. So this is like something like I think that I mentioned last week was Johhnie To doesn't do like character. Like, what was it? It doesn't do like character reveals, but they reveal certain things about themselves to the audience.
Development.
He doesn't develop characters. Like this one, like we are just thrown in here to like who this guy is, basically right from the start. Like he's literally just a drunk, washed up judo star.
That's how we're introduced
quickly. Yeah.
But like we're gonna learn, but we basically are also seeing his reason.
Yes.
Why he's a
drunk
washed
up judo star.
But like. Yeah. Also, this is another important thing we see this repeat at the this opening scene repeated again, where he does the same thing with the club.
Yes, with the bouncer.
Yeah, with the bouncer again. Like he just loves kind of just like to bring you back almost.
He does
to
bring you back to center, kind of.
Yeah. I guess that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But yeah, Louis Ko is obviously he's the guitarist for the bar's band, and he quickly passes out whenever they're doing their sets. So he also owns the bar. Okay, yes, at least that's what's implied. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so, afterwards, we do get some great shots of Kwok challenging the sax player to judo out in the street as well because they had kind of gotten into a little tiff before or whatever, and he like dislocates his arm. Yes, and this is gonna be obviously what leads to him becoming the sax player. But then obviously Johhnie To cuts to our last major player in the movie, which is going to be Mona, the singer from Hong Kong, and she's getting her introduction is hilarious, honestly, because she's just getting thrown out of her apartment for never paying, and obviously it's just kind of funny because like
it's like a quick scene, like
literally a really quick scene of her just getting thrown out for the sole reason of the joke of her like literally walking into the bar just with everything she owns, essentially, like save me, but
kind of they're in like similar situations.
Yes,
but I think it's also there's similar situations, but how they handle it is way different, which like is kind of important.
Yes, it definitely is. Because she still has, even in this scene where she's getting kicked out, she has this like I can't fail attitude, basically. So
it's like, that's why this movie takes rewatches, because like even just talking about it now, I'm realizing even how important she is. It's like it's never directly stated like, oh, I'm watching you and now I'm learning to be more hopeful or something. But it's just like how he sees these two other people live.
Yes.
It just changes him, you know. But there's never like any direct correlation or anything like that. It's just like. We're supposed to get that as the audience because he's been around these two people and like how they like even Tony too, like how he with one arm he still wants to go and fight and he like doesn't want to give up, and that's like basically all he does. He'll lie.
He comes up with a technique.
Yeah, he'll come up with techniques. He'll come up with lies just to get what he wants, you know. But yeah, it's just that kind of attitude towards life, of you know like this kind of hopeful, not giving up, even if situations like because they kind of all. Actually, Tony kind of seems almost like a dreamlike character. It's weird. He does. He always has money. Like, even at the beginning, he's like getting.
He does always have money.
Well, I forget what he says. I forget why. Does he? I don't know if he ever explains that.
I don't think he ever does, honestly. But
yeah, no.
He's a great sax player. That's how, obviously.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. That's also true. That's never explained either.
No, yeah. But so I literally just mentioned that Mona will run into the bar with all of her shit, and she does that now. And this is where I have my notes that basically every scene in the bar is as perfectly lit as you will ever see in a movie. But yes. I do kind of love it because he's just passed out because he's been drinking obviously all night, and she's just like over there like just kind of like slapping him to wake up or whatever. But and she wants him to listen to her sing. Because she obviously needs a job, and she's still hoping to make it big as a singer, obviously. So, I do love the shot of him just dunking his face in cold water.
Yes.
It leads to him getting a phone call from his sax player saying that he dislocated his arm in a fight. And it's just for the sole reason for Aaron Kwok to just burst into the scene with the sax. It's fucking hilarious. I love it so much.
No, it ends with this like hang-on shot of like him in the foreground and this silhouette, his face in the foreground, and then Aaron Ko in the background. Or what's his name? Aaron.
Louis Ko?
The other actor.
Aaron Kwok.
Aaron Kwok. His name is Tony, which is
Tony. Yeah.
In the movie, but yeah, he's like playing the sax also in silhouette in the background too, just like this, and he just hangs on this shot.
And she's still singing in the background too, which is making it better also.
Yeah. Basically, like they're both kind of like, it's like, is he even paying attention or not? But it's like he obviously. I mean, I guess they do get hired.
They do. I mean, hired for what?
Yeah. He does. Basically, it's like no, he's not even hired. He's like, just got a minute, like
yeah, he's like, got a minute. Then they go on their bus ride, which I mean, the bus is amazing in this movie. Obviously,
also repeated too.
Also repeated later in one of the most heartfelt scenes in the movie. But yeah, I do love the shots of them just like staring at Ko. But they do kind of just like introduce each other before getting out of the bus quickly and going into the arcade. So I do kind of love how neither of the other two know that what they just agreed to was to rob another man, or rob basically a gangster. But that is kind of what they agreed to, even though they thought they were agreeing to jobs. But
but it's kind of implied that maybe they knew by the time they're in the arcade.
Maybe, like
it's like they're just going with the plan. It's not. There's no introduction of they have to be convinced or anything like that. It's just like
like I definitely know Mona knows the plan.
Yeah, once you see the plan happening, you're supposed to infer all this stuff.
All that
stuff happened, or like that's where it's like it becomes very romantic. It's like these are just moments of people's lives. It doesn't have to necessarily be like a plot connected, like literally.
Yes.
That's why I love it. It's like. Actually, David Borrell says, he says, in place of clear-cut conflicts and developments, we get a flow of distractions, a virtuoso sideshow of particular moments, dramatic and comic, that are engaging in themselves. And that's the thing, like, they're basically kind of like, they're not meant to be like some kind of more logical, like, narrative, but it's more like you said, just moments in themselves. Like, just dramatic, comic, but like, they're just, enjoyable, and it's like not necessarily for some, like, because it's not necessarily about the kind of plot mechanics. Really. It's more about the idea behind the movie, like we saw.
Well, I mean, you could easily say that even in this scene where they're stealing from this man, he catches them and just lets them get away with it.
Yeah, that's where it's like he's being really dumb, even if they have this plan, like because he uses the exact same bag.
Yeah.
And then he's like just holding it even when he gets caught like, for so long. And then the guy comes up and he's like, oh, but you were this grand judo master. Because that's where it's like, it makes sense. All these people are from his past life.
Yes.
They could be like dream kind of characters in a way, Because like, this was a guy he fought in his past, but he didn't want to think about it. Now he's willing to go back and think about it. And then the other guy too, he's willing to go back and fight him as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, like even his antagonists are more like not like against him. It's like just things he has to really overcome, like himself.
Literally just things like they make him think about himself.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, everything that happens in this arcade is amazing. You kind of just have to watch it to get the full scene, obviously, but
it does. This like you could like Johhnie To also loves arcades too.
You can I think I read the quote last week. Like he doesn't like playing video games, but he loves arcades because they look awesome. Like that's literally why he puts them in his movies. So, after obviously the arcade scene happens and they get the money, they leave, and this starts the fight between Tony and Louis Ko. Mostly at least one side of the fight.
This one has
definitely. No. Definitely just one side fight because Louis Ko, he's just giving him money and he's like, I want to fight you. He's like, okay, and they just like literally gets thrown down. He's like, oh god. Like he's not trying at all. Obviously,
there's no resistance.
So. Yeah, like
basically to the point where he almost dies from choking because he's like at that point of not wanting to fight.
Yeah, because Mona like literally, I mean, like Tony would probably want to gone that far, but But you can definitely tell that Tony's very disappointed.
He's wanting him to fight back, basically.
Yes, he is.
So that's why he's like, 100%. How far do I have to go? And he's like, basically telling like, this guy's not going to fight back.
No, yeah. It's very, very telling of where he's at in his life.
It's almost like he's willing to accept this choke out. You know? That's where,
he's
at that point.
He's willing to accept that.
Yes, exactly. And like Tony realizes that only like really at that moment.
Yeah.
And this is actually another, almost like the next scene is kind of another example of that. First Tony sees that, and now she's about to see the same thing.
Yes, with the gambling.
Exactly. Like literally all this money, just gives it up all right away.
It's simultaneously crazy, like to watch. Like obviously, like it's very sad, like watching this man's downfall, but it's shot so funny. Because he just like walks in with 50K and he loses immediately and just turns around, walks out. He's like, let's go. She's like, what?
Well, then especially when he tries to get her money too, and even slaps her.
Yeah.
Basically, like seeing how low he is.
Yeah, and he obviously knows he went too far because he gives her the singing gig immediately.
Yeah, he gives her the job. Yeah.
And you can tell they've patched things up because the next scene is just them walking into the bar. Tony's already there, and they're haggling over like price basically for sets for how much she's gonna get paid every set. But whenever they get back, Ko immediately starts drinking, and then he asks Aaron Kwok for money so he can pay off his debts. and then Tony just leaves and says he's taking the job until Louis Ko's gonna find him for real. So really funny scene, honestly, but. Then it cuts to that night at the bar with Mona, Tony, and Louis Ko performing. And they're being watched by 4 groups of people. This is what Stephen Tao in his book calls like Johhnie To's basically scene in here for cinephiles.
Actually, this is the scene I thought was in last week's PTU. I think I mentioned I think I said 3 dialogues in it once, but I was actually thinking of this movie because I just watched it.
Yes.
But yeah, it was actually it's actually similar. It's not similar. It's just similar in terms of like there's like 3 different tables and he's like kind of cross cutting between the 3 different dynamics going on.
Oh, there's a lot of cross cutting in this one.
Yeah, this one is just crazy because it's like
it's like cross cut specifically basically whenever Louis Ko moves most of the time too. I don't know. It's fucking awesome. Like, I think there's 4 groups because we got the I think Brother Savage, which is the gangster from the arcade. Yes. He's awesome. Then we have Louis Ko's boss, who he owes money to. Then we have Mona's agent.
That one is just like we never see any of that.
We never see that at all.
So it's like you really just have to get that, like
or
not get it. That's another thing. Like there's stuff we're not supposed to get about this character, you know?
Yeah, because that comes on rewatches.
Yes, and actually, there's a quote in that interview I mentioned where he says because they ask him about this scene specifically, they call it the I forget what they call it. Damn, I wish I'd written it down. But he says, as for why I edited it this way, I wanted the film to be like this. I don't really need the audience to understand everything, to understand every detail. They just need to understand the tone. I just need the tone.
Yeah.
I just love that because like that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like all that matters is this tone, this kind of like romantic feeling. You know, it's not these details aren't necessarily important. Like what boss is it? Like who are we talking about? It's like the fact that he's like almost just drowning in this kind of like
drowning in this depression.
Yes, this depression of all these 4 different things going on at once,
and
he can't handle it. You know, it's like getting that feeling across. You know, and just not understanding too, even what's going on. Almost like how we're talking about running on karma. You don't have to understand. Like that's the whole point of karma. We don't understand it all.
You just have to cultivate good actions.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, you could say this movie's about that same kind of thing too.
Oh, definitely, most definitely at the end also.
Because actually, now that I'm thinking about that character, that actually has another character that dies. And a Throwdown does. That kind of like also...
The Master,
yes, like it kind of teased it like, oh, he's in the hospital, you know, maybe he'll survive. Yeah. And it's like, no, he just dies. It's like...
Without ever getting to see
you don't get a last shot or anything. He's actually one of my favorite characters too, but we'll get to his scene later.
I mean, he has a scene here because he's here in the bar as well. He's one of these 4. He's the last one, so...
Yeah.
I mean, this scene you really just have to watch it because it's fucking amazing. I do love how Mona's basically then her saying like you forced me into prostitution always makes all the other 3 groups turn around and look like they pause for a second. So that's like a basically centering point, I guess, like a centering topic. Like maybe she's like that's probably the worst that anyone's going through, you know, like being forced into prostitution to succeed, you know, like that could even be like you could say worse than losing your eyesight sometimes. So At least that could be something Aaron.
That's also the first time that's shown introduced in the movie too.
It is,
that idea
yes.
in the movie too. So it's like these two like whole new like pressures that we didn't know were affecting these characters.
Yeah, like we didn't even know that Mona had an agent.
Exactly.
Until now.
Yeah.
That she owes money to, but
yeah.
But it does like this conversation scene, or this, I think at least Stephen Tao calls it the 4 table sequence, is what he calls it. It leads to one of the better scenes, like one of the best scenes in the movie, where Louis Ko and Mona are just in the stall together, basically posing for each other, like to get the other groups that they don't want to talk to leave the bathroom.
That's what it's like. Basically, this something is going on in this club. Like it's almost like even this whole movie is a dream, but this is like it's like specifically almost a dream. Like the way it's happening too, because like
we just see this kind of serious conversation where it's like kind of just the way it's edited. Like he even talks about in the interview how like he had to just be like, the actors, you have to trust me. I'm gonna. It's all gonna make sense in the editing because like it's not gonna make sense what's gonna happen right now because you just have to know. I know what I'm doing. Like it's one of those things.
Yeah. No, he said in there. I think he said in an interview that this was the longest scene in the movie that they had to film because it was so hard for the actors to get down basically at first because he had to tell them like you just have to trust that I'm going to make this make sense essentially. So
it's crazy too. Like that's where it makes like the cinephile scene too because it's like you would like it's just a dialogue scene that's confusing the audience.
Yeah.
So. Why is that the longest scene? You know, like from a studio perspective, like why would that be the longest scene to shoot? You know, shouldn't it be an action? You're an act. This is a movie about judo. Like, why is this the longest scene in the movie? Like, that's crazy, honestly, if you think about it.
It is
because like it's like just for its own sake. Like it's like you're enjoying it for its own sake. It's not necessarily for like.
Well, and it is an action scene in terms of words for sure as well.
And like, honestly, the way it's like filmed by like an action director, like almost like a Michael Bay-esque, like kind of like how he would approach like a dialogue scene or something.
Yeah,
but no, it's so great, and especially like that's the dream part. Like I was gonna say is like because that seems like a very serious moment, and then all of a sudden we get this comedy moment.
Yes.
You know, of like them hiding in the stall where like and then the other guy comes in.
Brother Savage.
Yeah, he's just like so cheap. It's just so
like
funny.
Filthy couples.
But he like keeps pissing in front of them too. Which is
he's just peeing in front of them, and then whenever he's done peeing, he just says tea time, and they just grabs him both by the shoulders and walks him out. And then I love it because he just like looks at he distinctly looks at all the other 3 groups and said they're mine now. And then he sits them down at the table.
Well, that's what makes this fight break out.
Yes. Oh, I love it because it's just like it's definitely just emotions boiling over. Obviously, you could say.
Yes. But then it's like it's not a real fight scene. You know, it's like very slow motion and it's like very like it's like a dance.
It is definitely a dance because you also get like Jing starting to sing the song again, like the
you get it, exactly. And then you're getting Tony Long Kai-Fei
just watching.
He's just sitting in the back watching. You know, like the effect you get watching is like this intense action scene is happening. It's shot just like a kind of a beautiful like it's like beautiful chaos. But like we're not involved in it directly. You know.
Yeah, and the shot of you have the shot of Jing singing, and then you have the shot of like he like in the background, like he's in the background. Tony Long is sitting there on the right in his chair, and then you have Louis Ko on the left, like literally just drinking as all this is happening.
Yeah, I mean that's probably part of the reason why we don't feel because like he's not fighting.
Yes.
So like he's more just watching like I don't really care what happens. Almost, you know. So,
like he's still in this. He's still in this. I don't give a fuck.
Yes,
basically.
Yes, exactly.
So.
But then also the way the camera just shifts to them outside. It's like it doesn't make sense logically why they're all of a sudden just outside fighting.
The fight just spills out to the streets.
Yeah, but like they're still all just like perfectly fighting next to each other.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's like cut to this wide like the high angle, the high angle shot. It's just so good. With the neon lights.
No, it's such a good shot, man. After that shot of just like the slow-mo fight in the street for a little while, it cuts back into the bar with Li Kong, and he just kind of looks at Louis Ko and says, "You're not a worthy opponent anymore." And then he walks out of the bar. I think it's still in slow-mo maybe whenever he walks out, but then he just does his move and literally dislocates everyone's arm. And ends the fighting all by himself. And then he does look at Aaron Kwok's character in this movie and says like, "Hey, you come challenge my dojo again. Basically, I want to fight you again." Like he still thinks of him as a worthy adversary as well. So, and then we just get a great like I think it's another of the great high angle shots of just him walking away. So, after this we have an important scene. Honestly, even though it's kind of just like in here, it's Mona being interviewed for a singing gig.
Yes.
But she gets turned away for being too old.
Yeah.
And this is an easy part to hang it up, obviously. Like, this is
also, there's
easy.
another thing, like, I think just the way he casts everyone else around her, they're also shorter, too. So it makes her look really tall.
She does look really tall in the scene.
I just noticed, like, this scene, like, it's just like another little, like...
some of the other people don't even look like that much younger than her, honestly.
No, yeah, they're just probably shorter.
But, after she gets that news, obviously we cut back to the bar, and Kwok is hanging the sign that the judo championships are coming up in the bar. It's a great shot of just like him hanging up with Luiko just stringing his guitar in the background. Or actually, I think he's hanging it up in the background. We're just watching Luiko string his guitar in the foreground or whatever. But we cut to like one of the funnier scenes in the fucking movie, honestly, where it's just like we're back with just this triad boss again. And he's playing a little kid in air hockey and just crushing his soul. Like, it's so funny, dude. Like,
this is actually another thing. Like, this is the evilest this movie gets. This is how mean he is to this kid, where he's like, fucking 4 eyes. Or like,
fucking 4 eyes.
He's like, you're such a lousy opponent. Then the kid starts crying. He's like, crying like a baby. Act like you got a pair.
Act like you got a pair. It's so fucking
actually,
funny,
we do see him cut these two.
No, he cuts these guys. Yeah,
like none of these things ever come back and affect like the real like situation with these other characters. You know.
Well, and every time he does something stupid, he immediately ends it. Or every time he does something like mean, he immediately ends it with like tea time. So you're like, what?
Yeah,
what is this guy? Like, I don't know.
It's never that. Like he does cut that guy, but he doesn't kill him. You know?
No, yeah, he just
this other guy he does like fucking he beats him up when he's late, but. Because this is the thing, like we're getting another repeat, like almost like it's like they're repeating everything on purpose, like to almost emphasize it.
This is the funniest repeat though, or one of the funnier ones, because it's just like obviously they're in the mascot outfits, just trying to steal the money.
Like
again.
that's why it cuts right to them steal. It doesn't have to give the introduction of them trying to steal.
Yeah,
it's
like, so good.
Just like them, right?
It makes it so much funnier. Like
these costumes are funny as fuck too.
Yeah, because he just removes the head and he just looks down and he just goes like he just gives them the money as well in the scene, so he just is like take it. Before
also, it's funny that their plans are getting worse. Like,
definitely getting worse. Like, this is such a bad plan. What did they think he wasn't going to notice? You're in giant mascot outfits, but it does after that cut to them going to a restaurant. And this is kind of a big scene in the movie, obviously, because he tells Mona because he doesn't want to see his master because he doesn't want any part of his old life basically to influence his like at this moment it literally is kind of like he wants to live in this depression. Like he's not even. Like, he knows he's depressed and he doesn't care, almost. Like, he doesn't want to get out of it because he doesn't see the reason to live on. Mm. So, like, that's why he's sending her in here because he doesn't want someone to even, like, give him the opportunity to, like, live on, basically. Is at least how I see it.
And this is where also, like, to me, like, this old guy is, like, where he says... Do you remember what he says in this scene to him? Because he's, like, trying to get him to come watch us fight.
He says, I feel, like, younger than ever or something.
Yes. And to me, you could say, like, this is where it feels very personal, and, like, I can feel like this is... And also, to me, this is where I get out of Johhnie To's themes, and where I get inspired by so many directors like Buñuel, like, that made a lot of movies, like John Ford and stuff, that just, like, kept making movies.
Yeah.
Because he says, at first, I didn't think I'd make it, but now I'm getting used to the training. I'm in great shape now. I'm full of confidence. The commitment makes me feel younger. And I love that line. Like, I honestly, that could be like a Johhnie To thing. Like, the commitment makes me feel younger. Because, like, that's what I get out of Johhnie To. Like, he's making, like both these movies are just back to back.
Yeah.
You know? But, like, he's always, like, he's made, like, over 50 movies.
He's made so many. It's just crazy.
And, like, a lot of them he produced himself, too, you know, with his own studio.
Yes, and he's always experimenting.
Yes, but even his commercial movies, too, because he's very honest about that. Like, because there was that other interview I mentioned earlier, and someone asked him, like, why do you even make commercial movies? He's like, once you own a studio, you have to be honest about, like, you have investors and they want to make money too, so you have to, like, try to find that balance of, like, if you want to make your own movies, you have to make the commercial movies. But he's found a way to also make the commercial movies, like, still have an idea.
Have his core values,
and it's still him making the movie, directing. So even if the story is not as, like, personal as this one feels, like, it's still a Johhnie To movie at the end of the day. You know? And there's some idea that attracted to him, or something like that, you know.
Yeah, and something that always, like, his authorial style always does shine through in the movies, no matter what it is. Like, he always brings a certain quality to any movie that he's going to be making, simply because he's making it. It's like, Like, that's something I've only found watching later in his career.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I keep on watching his movies, and I'm just like, there's no way these are going to be as good as the other movies I've seen.
It's like,
and then I watch them, and I'm like, how do you do this? Like,
that's why it's like so many people are like skeptical to go to like Buñuel's like Mexican period and stuff, because like, how could he have made so many good movies? You know, like, I already know the good ones, like the later period and stuff. It's like, he did make that many, like, he, like, because it's the same person having that control over the movie, even if like the stories aren't exactly as freedom, you know, more experimental as like he would, like, the personal movies are, but like even in the commercial movies,
that's what makes them great directors.
Yes, exactly. There's still a lot to get out of them,
because there are obviously a lot of directors that just make movies and it's whatever the studio wants, obviously, but
and like, just to get back to where we were at this scene, when we just get to this point, it's like, that's where I feel like Johhnie To, like, it's him, almost himself saying that, this old guy saying the community makes me feel younger, like, that's just in like in 2005
2004
yeah, exactly. Like, he's still he's not.
Election hadn't even come out yet, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Election was like groundbreaking in the action genre, basically. So
and like, I think he still has he's still trying to make another movie.
He is, like, he still has an untitled project in the works. Okay. So I mean, he hasn't made a movie in a while, I will say, but
that is true.
I'm hoping he gets back into it. Obviously, we need him. No,
I mean, once you make 50, you can slow down.
I mean, yes.
You're allowed to.
No, he's definitely allowed to slow down. He's done enough, but I would still like to see more. I do just like the SpongeBob type music playing in this scene too. I will say, love it. But yeah, basically the master just wants him in the scene to come and watch his fight. This is why I was kind of saying I view this as like Louis Ko not wanting a reason to live. Like, that's why he doesn't want to come to see his master, because he knows that he's going to give him like a reason, basically.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to say it. And like, that's another thing, another part of this where every character is basically for him too. It's kind of like his kind of realization, including this character too. Like, the way he's living his life is also like kind of having an impact on, like, the way his master is still committed to the.
He's committed to him still.
Yes, exactly. Like, that's inspiring to Louis Ko's character as well. You know, just like basically all these other characters' actions are inspiring to him, basically. Even though it's all visual. You know, he's watching and then he learns. You know, it's never like any direct stated. Like, this is the closest we come to this kind of like. And this conversation, that's funny. In the movie's sense, it wasn't even supposed to happen.
No,
he tells him just to go in and like come out quickly. I forgot what he's. I think
he's giving him money or something.
Okay, yeah, and then like she ends up staying to eat.
Yeah, she said. I think she literally says, "He told me to stay and eat because you come in after a while."
Yeah. No, it's great. It's just like so casual too. It's just so great. Also, no, like Johhnie To, we haven't even talked about that one, but Johhnie To loves characters eting. Like,
definitely.
Be like even in PTU, like
we talked about the restaurant scene.
Yeah, exactly. And then Running on Karma has like the monks we talked about with them eating.
Yes. There was a few eating scenes that we talked about in Running on Karma also, because they had a dinner scene after the bodybuilding competition too. So,
I mean, in an election, a guy eats a spoon.
Election has a few scenes of eating. I think
it does have a few.
But yeah, like you can say he gets this reason to live at this point, and then it cuts to them at the gambling den again. And he's doing very well this time. He's doubling up on everything, though. And he keeps on doubling up. And
so you're like, is he going to learn?
Exactly. Is he going to learn his lesson, just take the money? Mona's there with him still. She's saying, like, you need to stop betting. Like, let's just take the money and go. Like, you're at $500,000. Like, let's go. But he bets it all. And he loses. And then he just, like, turns around and walks out immediately because he knows he lost. And then we get the scene of Mona taking the money and running past him. And this, in my notes, is obviously where I have... This is the first time that we see him smile in this entire movie. And it comes directly after, obviously, his master talking with him again. But it's just like, he's seeing her live... At least I kind of read this as he's seeing her live life to its fullest, essentially. Like she might be... It might be for the wrong reasons, like, just, like, money hungry, you could say. But he still wants her to succeed. And, like, he's very happy that he's chasing after her in this moment. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's at least the look that his face gives me. Because Johhnie To doesn't tell you anything.
You're 100% right. Because I actually have a quote that he basically said exactly that. Because they asked him about this scene too. Because I think this is actually the crucial scene of him seeing someone else act a certain way and then him having this realization. Like, almost the scene
before that, it's almost like a foreshadow.
Yeah.
With the old guy saying it has commitment, where like, but this is like kind of, you could say what changes, like you said, the first time he smiles, because like basically he's repeating the same actions. Like,
yes,
he's still gambling. Like, he might be the same guy. Like, if Mona wasn't there next to him, maybe he would have just gone down the same cycle almost. It's that kind of thing. But he says, but he did not expect Mona would grab the money and run. So when he ran, I took a shot of him smiling, because that's hope. He now has hope. This girl's just full of hope. Actually, the entire scene shows a romantic world. Something great happened when they were at rock bottom. I told Louis to smile at the time. He was confused and didn't understand. Why would he smile when she runs away and money is flying all around? Why was the shot such an exaggerated way? Actually, that's not a real world, but it's what we lacked in real life, forgetting the previous hardship. And that's the so-called romance. We have to do that for our lives. We need to search for that kind of romance, about money. It's not about material things. It's something that happens in the moment. That is something you cherish for the rest of your life. I just love it, especially like the kind of, it just turns into a very romantic kind of hopeful, even like when she's losing the money and stuff. Yeah. Just like, that's what it's about. This scene is like of that moment, even like when
it
it's
is.
not
I love the forgetting past hardships, because that is kind of like what the scene, like it does kind of feel like that. Like, this moment of her running past him, he didn't expect it. It's a complete shock to the system, and he's just like forgotten about everything, and this is the only moment that exists, basically. Yes. Which that is very romantic, obviously, but it's a very romanticized world whenever that happens. But
and then we get the kind of another thing, like there's just so many things that are going to be repeated, like the shoe.
Yes, he loses his shoe,
and then she goes back and gets it for him.
Yes,
actually, this is because he makes this kind of sacrificial.
He does.
He sacrifices his body for.
It's a great shot of her and the opposing gang like crab walking to each other, just grabbing the money.
That's actually another really great shot too. Like, first they're chasing each other.
Yes, and then they
don't know what to do. Like, should
like,
they?
So money hungry.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know what to do because of the money. It's like there's so many Johhnie To themes just in this one.
There is.
Just like this idea, like almost like an election little moment or something.
It kind of is, honestly.
Movie or like something like that, But
yeah, he saves her.
Yeah,
and takes the beating for her, basically. So. But
then he also pointed out how this is basically the one thing he got almost directly from, or the most inspiration directly he can think of Sanshiro Sugata.
It's been a sexy.
Because I didn't really remember too, but apparently that movie ends with a guy tying the shoe for the girl.
Oh,
it has something shoe related with the guy. And he's like,
no, I think I remember.
And he told the screenwriter, like, I have to have this in the script. Like, that's the one thing I knew.
The shoes.
The shoe thing. And, like, the thing coming back.
I like it,
too. Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to at least say that. Because that was also, you could tell, like, this was a very big moment for him, this scene in the movie.
Definitely is.
Just even the way it's shot, too. These tracking shots with the camera on, like,
just, like, driving past
once again, street lights are really important.
Yes.
For how it's shot. Yeah. That's probably another thing about this kind of, like, romantic dream world. It feels like everything's at night, like there's no one on the streets of Hong Kong. I think David Bordell says like this is the cleanest Hong Kong has ever lived. Yeah, no, it's just like it's just like so many emotions in this one scene.
There are, dude.
Like, yeah,
it's an amazing
scene.
But
yeah,
no, it's an amazing, really, really, really sweet scene. After that scene, though, it does cut back to the bar, and Ko's applying medical ointment to himself while Mona is telling him her dreams about making it in Japan. This is kind of what you mentioned earlier. All he can do is laugh because he's still seeing her like this just happened, and this is all you can think about still, basically, like making it big in Japan. And it's kind of just like it's like legit joy that is on his face, honestly, in this scene. But after that, it cuts to Tony challenging Lee Kong in the dojo. And this is another scene of that you could say of at least us witnessing another person like living life, at least their life to its fullest, like what they want to do in life. They're doing it because he's challenging this, and you can tell that both of them love it. This is why I kind of love Tony Lunkai's face also, because in this scene, even though they're fighting, both of them are just smiling at each other, and it's like a very friendly like thing. Like you can tell they both love it. Yeah. Even though one of them comes away with a dislocated shoulder, obviously.
That's where it's like this becomes like a great sports movie kind of. Movie with no antagonist, but it still has fighting. Like that's what sports are about, where it has fighting, but no antagonist really. Like it's like friendly competition, like kind of beauty with sports, where it's supposed to bring out the best in you without necessarily having like a ill will towards the other person you're even fighting. That's what the beauty of like even boxing and like. Other like these fighting and combat sports are,
I mean, all sports are kind of these battles, you know, but it's not necessarily like a life or death battle, you know. Even if it is like life or death sometimes, like not actually literally, but
no, yeah,
you know what I mean. Especially like the way it can like even just like personally for me, sports and stuff, how it can get you out of depression.
Oh, definitely.
Just like movement, you know. But yeah, because like he gets dislocated shoulder, but he doesn't see it as a negative.
No, he does not.
Like, or like they say the theme of this movie, like there's another kind of quote, I don't remember exactly, but Johhnie To says like something like basically losing is not always losing.
No, yeah,
you know, and that's like basically how Tony sees like every kind of thing that happens to him.
Yeah, no, I'll try to read a quote at the end, basically about what judo is about, essentially. So, because that's definitely at the heart of this movie as well. Just like the core tenets of judo as well is kind of what this movie is about.
No, I love that.
So after that, like we don't even see him getting his arm dislocated. Obviously, it just cuts back to the bar, and he walks in with his arm in a sling, and he's like, "Oh, I just fought Lee Kong. It was great."
Exactly.
And then Mo's like, "Why do you keep on fighting, man? What's wrong with you?" He's like, "This is where one of the biggest scenes in the movie happens. This is where, if you're watching the first time, you probably fully believe him."
Yes, exactly.
Like he says,
there's nothing that happens to where you wouldn't believe him.
Exactly.
You know?
Like
there's like a quick shot of him
straight.
smiling, like, "Oh, I'm gonna like lie or something." You know,
Exactly.
it's like nothing like would tell you.
No, he just says, "I have a hereditary eye disease. It's glaucoma. I'm gonna gradually lose my eyesight over the years until I go blind. That's why I'm trying to like fight and live, or that's why I'm trying to fight and do everything to my fullest now, or whatever." And I kind of love it because after he says that, Mona says, "Well, you better fight him soon then." And she points to Aaron Coe, who's just like walking off the screen. And at this moment, like you would never even assume that he cared enough to even listen to that. But he was listening because we immediately cut to the lockers.
Yes.
And Aaron Kwok opens up his locker and just sees cards for eye doctors in there, or just like eye clinics and stuff that he can go to for his glaucoma. And if you're watching this the first time, like whenever I was like, "What the hell is this? I don't even know what this means." Like,
honestly, yeah, exactly. You could just easily ignore it if you're not watching.
Yeah, and like obviously like maybe like Tony in this scene probably doesn't know who put, like he might assume it's Aaron Coe, or not Aaron Coe, Louis Coe that put it in there, but he doesn't know that for sure, and he doesn't know why either he would do that, but he seems kind of happy about it at the very least. You can tell he's at least somewhat happy.
Or at least like he'd be
it,
like, "Oh, at least he cares for me," you know?
Yeah, kind of
even
like
if
that.
it's like a fake story for like it's not a big deal for me. Like, it's,
Yeah.
you know,
like he's not completely like heartless.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
almost.
Especially since the next scene we're actually gonna go see him go watch the old man fight.
Yeah.
You know? So we're seeing kind of like he's not as bad as like.
One, I loved how he watched the old man fight. It's just him outside the building, just
he's like very
in.
scared to go. Like, he knows like if I go in, like something might change about me.
Yes.
Like, he's just scared of what's gonna happen if he goes in. Which is
like he's scared of this hope, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what like depression is. You know? It's like he's scared of like of changing it almost. You know, in a way too.
It's kind of like that fate that we were talking about in Running on Karma. Like he can't change that in this movie, and he knows that, so he's scared of even trying to find happiness in life. Almost like he doesn't want to change his fate at all in that way. Like he's kind of resigned himself to the fact that he's going to go blind, and so he's just living in depression.
Yeah.
When in reality, obviously, like he eventually finds out, like, oh, that's not something I should have been doing. Obviously, like there is still beauty,
but still, he's still going to be blind. But it's just like a new way to accept that reality.
Yes, exactly. Like he doesn't change his fate, but he changes his perception of what it is. Like it's not something negative completely.
Well, I think that's a big thing. That's where the other people are a huge factor in this movie. Like why it's so important. It's like this idea of having other people to learn from and like other
help
lives,
you through.
almost. You know. Yeah, exactly. To help you through, but also to learn like how other people live their lives, and you can learn your own stuff from that as well. You know, like even like because like we're gonna see like this guy, basically the old guy is about to, you know, he's gonna get injured to the point of almost dying. I'm basically dying.
Dying. Yeah.
Oh, this is very visual and very fast too.
Yes.
So it's like we're just like watching. He's like outside, and all of a sudden there's a hospital. There's like ambulance.
Outside, we just hear that his master lost. That's all we hear, and then we just hear the ambulance come by. Obviously, it's It's great shots of him just like watching his master get taken out, also, and just everything happening in this moment. Obviously,
him like struggling in the hospital.
Yes,
like
this is a clear scene if you've seen it before that he is like this is a clear like reference that he is going blind because he is literally.
Because we're seeing out of focus shots too.
We are seeing
some out of focus stuff like where he's looking.
Yeah.
So it is almost like kind of obvious if you do know, but like at the same time, like he could just be drunk because he's depressed.
Yeah, like literally his worldview, like literally something massive just happened. Like he's just in shock or something. Like could easily be reading.
He could just be drunk, coming to there drunk or something.
Exactly, that too, because we've seen that all movie. But yeah, Jing is watching the master though, and he is just watching the heart monitor, and as Luiko is stumbling through the hospital. The heart monitor obviously just flatlines, and the master is no more. And it's just a hard cut after that to the dojo, where Jing is getting taken to an assisted care center, basically. Luiko is there. I will say all these scenes are very specifically shot to like shadow Luiko's face. Like his face is never in the light from like I don't think I saw his face in the light from here until the point that he comes out of his depression, honestly, except maybe in like some of the bar shots where his face is like somewhat in light but not completely, but completely in shadow in this shot though. It's a great shot. It's very sad because this is just another kind of reality of someone that is mentally handicapped. Like this is something they would have to go through if this happened to them. If they didn't have if Luiko wouldn't have come out of his depression, what he would have to go back to, obviously, what Jing would have to go back to.
Because he's also thinking about how his brother. I don't know if it's his brother or.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I know it's the son of his master, so that might just be why they're calling themselves the brothers. But
yeah, basically someone he's close to.
Yeah.
Basically, how he's having to deal with the situation too, that he didn't ask for,
Yeah.
But like, basically, him thinking about that situation makes him change though. Like maybe he can help as well, and he does end up helping.
He does.
But basically, seeing how other people, like basically what this movie's about, like how I read that quote at the beginning, how Johhnie To wants us to put ourselves in these situations, like almost Louis Ko's doing that with, like how his friends are handling their situations.
Yes.
And that basically changes himself too, like how he wants to change them.
Yeah, I mean, what happens next is a training montage of sorts, and I mostly think of it as Louis Ko's thinking through things in his head. Like that's what this training montage.
I mean, that's what I was saying. It even cuts to this out of focus shot.
It does.
Him training. That's what I was pointing to.
It's
like really beautiful.
Training,
It's out of focus. I love it.
Because he's training out of focus, and Louis Ko's just laying in the foreground on the floor. It's a really great shot, and you can tell he's just thinking kind of about what's happened so far. And Tony in this scene is also saying he came up with a new technique, one-arm technique that he can take on Lee Kong with and all that. But yeah, phenomenal shots as always.
There's like this great one of him laying down, and there's like this little patch of red right next to him, and then in the background, darkness, and in the very far back, there's another light of just like Tony training.
Yes, I love that shot. That shot's so amazing, man. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just various stages of him and drunkenness slash thinking about what's happening in life. After that, though, it does cut to Mona harassing her agent about Japan and what's happening with that. She's saying she's begging him for anything. She's like, I'll literally do nudes. Like I'll do anything. I'll do anything. Just give me a job in Japan, basically. This is cut. Like her doing this is cut with Jing getting out of the assisted care center. And running around, and Louis Ko also being there trying to help him get him back. And I love how these shots are also framed because he, like, Johhnie To, he's like really far back whenever they're all like running across the street, and they're all just like running across in various speeds. Like, because Louis Ko comes by last, and it's like very, very, very long after Jing runs by at first. But him running away leads him to the dojo again, where he's basically trying to set up dinner for the master that is no longer there.
Yes, yeah. It's a really sad scene.
It is a really sad scene. And Louis Ko's just here witnessing it because he can't really do anything. He just knows where he's going, and he's just there helping the assisted care people because they take him back, obviously. But this is really important because the reason, like, him running to the dojo leads Louis Ko to get back on the bus, obviously, to get back to the bar. And Mona also gets on the bus after talking with her agent. And this is one of the scenes I think that you were talking about earlier, where it's the very sentimental score starts playing because they're both just sitting on the bus. She sits directly behind him, and she just lays her head down on the chair and starts crying. And then Louis Ko just lays his head back and just looks up, and you can tell he's just thinking. This is one of the shots where he is fully, like, his face is fully in the light. But you can tell he's just, like, thinking about just life, you could say. and the score behind is just playing over them, and I don't know, it's a really beautiful and sad moment of just kind of, like, reflection, because, like, that's obviously what both of them are doing in this scene. But after that, and it's all no dialogue as well. They literally say nothing to each other. So after that, though, it cuts back to the bar, and we get another great scene of Tony challenging the big bouncer, saying he can throw him in one move with one arm.
Might say also $100. The centering I talked. You actually said, like,
the centering,
like, now we're starting again. Almost.
Yes, I mean, basically, that's literally what's about to happen.
Exactly.
I do love this, though, because the bouncer raises it to $500. He's like, there's no way he's going to throw me with one arm. Are you kidding me? And then he does. But and he's just like, thank you. And then just walks in. But we're in the bar again. And Tony comes in and says, I've arranged it again. I'm going to fight Li Kong again. And Louis Ko goes up to him and says, how can you keep doing this? Like, how can you keep acting like nothing is happening? And then he's like, what do you mean? And then Moa said, you said that you were going blind. And he's like, oh, I just made that up. It gets people to fight me. He said his reasoning was that no one would fight him because no one could believe that he just wanted to fight. So he had to make up a reason for people to believe that he wanted to fight all the time, basically. And this is the reason he came up with, was the hereditary eye disease. And this obviously hits Louis Ko very hard, and if you've seen the movie before, you know why, obviously. If you haven't seen it before, you're like, what the fuck, probably. Like, I don't know. I didn't know the first time, at least, watching this, where this aggression came from, because he gets very mad at this moment, and he just unloads. This is the first fight that you were basically talking about. Like, the first real fight that he has in this movie. Like, this is him getting back up again, almost.
Yes.
Or this is him entertaining the idea of getting back up, you could say. Because, at least in this moment, it's just like righteous fury. But it makes him think harder about it and then eventually get back up again. Like, this is the catalyst to that, but...
It's like the first, like, kind of start... Because, like, it gets him back, like, to him, like, enjoying the fight, too.
Yes. And I just love the slow realization that Tony has that this is a real fight.
Yes.
Because, like, at first, like, he obviously just Louis Ko just punches him and starts kicking him and shit, so it's not like a judo fight. But then whenever Tony tries to throw him, he stops him and throws him off, like, with a judo move. Mm-hmm. And Tony's like, oh my god, this is actually a real fight. And so then they both start taking it really seriously. I do love it. I love this scene so much. But it is one of the catalysts to him obviously overcoming his depression. And I will say the score fucking slaps in this entire movie, honestly, but especially in these scenes coming up. Because after Tony beats Louis Ko, he just kind of sits there for a moment, and then he gets up and stumbles out of the bar and into the streets. And we just get him slowly walking through the streets and slowly regaining his will to live, I would say.
Yes.
Because he's just walking down the street, and then he just slowly starts to, like, add, like, movement in.
Yes, he's starting to, like, shadow box.
Yes. Like, just do, like, perform some, like, judo moves on the street.
The music changes, like, it gets upbeat.
Yes, it's an amazing scene. I love it so much. And his feet, like, this is another, like, you could say coincidence, or just, like, your mind knowing where you want to go. Or like, your feet knowing where you want to go, even if you're not thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Because his feet lead him directly to the dojo.
Oh, yeah.
And he walks into the dojo, and this is, like, it's an amazing shot of just him lighting it up again and laying on the mats.
Oh, no, I love this shot, too, just the hand.
Yeah, it's just the hand going
like,
across
rubbing off the mat, just feeling it again, you know.
It's so good. Yeah, it's he starts throwing himself down on the mat, and you can tell that he's like he's definitely getting that will to live again, obviously. And then Jing runs in, and this is where the movie starts to come full circle, obviously, because he's taking on kind of this father role almost. Because Jing runs in and says, "Have you seen my father?" And then Ko tells him like he's not here anymore, and then Jing just like introduces himself again. And says like I'm Jing. You can be I'm a Tsuchirushi guy. You can be Higata or whatever.
The line he keeps saying.
And Louis Ko just gives him a hug, and it's just a really, really, really sweet scene. And then it's him coming out of the darkness basically because he starts shaving.
This like super close up, extreme close up shot of his eyes, and then we see him. He's finally shaving.
And it's just such a soft light around him too. Like it's such a.
And he looks like so much younger
good.
too.
Yes,
like,
he
right
does.
After.
And they're obviously having their dinner scene together that we kind of had seen before with the old master and with Jing, because Jing starts like playing with his drink, and he goes like, "Jing, don't play with your drink, eat," and they just kind of like smiles. But after that, he goes back to the bar. And I love the shot.
That's what I'm saying. This is where like the music is playing.
Yes.
And like as the music rises, it's like actually the music rises right when it cuts to them at the bar.
Yes.
And like they're both in shadow, and then she walks into the light. As she says
such
something.
a bright
It's like
light,
so
too.
romantic, but it's
is.
like you're like not expecting it to. Just so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It gives me chills because like he just walks in, like puts his shoulder on or puts his hand on her shoulder and just like like looks at her, and then he walks by and tells Tony, he's like, "I want to fight you," and they just smile and fight. It's a great scene. And then we get some of the sweetest scenes in the movie after this too, because this is him reconciling basically with his old life, you could say.
Yes.
Or basically
willing to go back.
Yes, going to his old life and saying, "I'm back," basically.
Yes, exactly.
Like I'm willing to.
Or I'm willing to
live.
face up to this.
Yes,
these
like
things.
I've been honestly, it's like I've been away for a while, but I'm back now.
That's why he's like, "I want to fight you, little judo bully."
Yes, it's so good. He's like, "So you do remember me, you asshole?"
Yeah, exactly.
Their scene is so sweet together because he's just throwing him. He's like, "I'll give you discounts," but he also fights his boss, who he owes money to. Which is why I love how this one's shot, because they're just on the rooftop, just getting like Johhnie To just shoots another high angle shot of them, but. And then it cuts back obviously to him fighting Tony in the dojo again. And after this, we get another probably of the bigger scenes in the movie, because it cuts to Mona with her having dinner with her father. And this is the scene where she's telling her father that she is going to make it big in Japan, and he's saying, "What's going to happen if you don't make it big in Japan? What are you going to do next? Like, are you going to try to make it big somewhere else like you did after Taiwan, after Hong Kong? Like, you've done this a lot of times before. How many times are you going to try this?" And this would be another easy moment for her to give up. Just having a father figure just basically give you the reality of the situation. Like, you're getting older. How much longer do you want to keep on trying to achieve this fairy tale, basically, dream that you have? Like, we hear about this all the time, obviously, so... that's where that scene is, though, because it leads to the best moment in the movie, which is the red balloon stuck in the tree. Mona happens upon it first, and she wants to get out of the tree, obviously. Louis Ko, this is all coincidence too, I'm pretty sure, because they obviously don't call each other. I think they're all just here at the same time. Like, because she's here Mona's here trying to get the balloon down all by herself with the water bottle. Then Louis Ko walks up. He tries to help her. I don't know where he comes from, but he just walks up, tries to help her get it down with the water ball. The water ball breaks. She gets on his shoulders, and they start trying to get it off. And then Tony drives by on the motorcycle and gets off. And then we get all three of them on each other's shoulders, just reaching for this balloon. The score is amazing. The scene, like, they play it perfectly too, because like whenever she like almost reaches it, the music changes like to the like little chimes for a little bit, like, oh, almost got it, and then like they actually grab it. This is like, at least to me, the scene is just like signifying, at least symbolizing, like they're achieving, they're reaching for their dreams, and they are grasping them. They're within their grasp. Like, they're still within their grasp, kind of. Like, never give up hope, almost. But
I mean, let me read what Johhnie To said. Because he said, even though they go their separate ways, these three people were together once and did something silly. They will talk about this red balloon 10 years later. and his character will say he suffered the most because he was on the bottom. The other one will say it was tougher to sit on his shoulders. This is something they can reminisce about. That's the kind of romance. It proves the existence of their friendship. That scene, I think, is the absolutely kind of thing that cements a bond between friends or schoolmates. That bond that could drive something to do something crazy. Maybe it's something we could call camaraderie. I love that because it's like a very poetic moment too.
It is
like, you know, it doesn't really fit in the movie, like narratively.
No,
like it's just so random, especially like after it just fits like poetic. Like she just had this letdown of her dad telling her she's not gonna make it, you know, but then she has like her friends here to kind of like give her hope, you know, in some kind of way.
Like in a sense, this could even be a dream. It could be viewed as a dream scene if you want it to be. Based on what happens next, even. But
especially the scene right after, too.
Yes.
Because it's almost like, you could say it's you don't actually, I don't know, like it could be a letdown or not, depending on if you think she should go with her father or not.
Oh, I don't think it's a letdown.
If she ends up leaving?
I think it's a very hopeful...
That she ends up running away?
Yes.
Yes, for the theme of the movie.
Yes,
it's kind of crazy, like a hope, you know. That's why I wanted to read this this quote, because... I just love this because he said, the character will never be a good singer. I wanted to tell the story of a character who had no chance of success. She travels from Tainan to Taipei, then Taipei to Hong Kong, and now Hong Kong to Japan. But that's how some people are. They have to fulfill their dream. No one can decide for you whether they'll make it or not. How can you say you won't make it without trying? So at the end, she really should go home with her father. She has such a nice family. She would have a great life with her father. But at the end, she still refuses to give up. She still insists on going to Japan. Her wishful thinking is actually silly. But without this kind of drive and perseverance, our life will be hopeless. I think people without dreams are miserable, even if they're just simple dreams. Just like our parents, whose biggest dreams are to see their children get a good education. Some of them just want to see their kids grow up. Education is not that important as long as they're healthy. Even if they have the simplest of dreams, they will still be obstacles for them to overcome. And they will overcome them. Otherwise, Hong Kong would not be so prosperous. I just love, especially, this is my favorite line, like, I think people without dreams are miserable, even if they're just simple dreams, you know, because, like, that's, like you said, like, the fact that she has a dream that she's not willing to give up on, that's the hopeful part, you know, even if it's silly, like, he's, like, contradicting himself, even though he's like, oh, she should go with her father, because, like, that's a smart thing, but, like, it'd be kind of a failure if she did that, because, like, she would still have this dream, you know.
She would have known that she gave up too soon for her.
Exactly.
Because she does say that to her father in the earlier scene, too. She's like, I want to know that whenever I'm older, at least I tried my hardest, essentially.
Exactly.
So, obviously this is a great scene of her running away from her father. We get the shoe scene repeated again, obviously. You always gotta have a friend to pick up your shoe again, you know?
Also the fact that it's kind of teased their romance, maybe, that they might have a romance, but, like, it's about a friendship. You know? That's what
it's about friendship to me,
Like a more normal movie would kind of have their romance too, or something.
Yes. Oh, and a normal movie, that bathroom scene earlier would have been way more romantic too.
Yes, that's true. Because, Johhnie To even talks in the interview, like, actually, like, it might be like a missed romance kind of faded kind of thing. Like, they could have had it, but it just wasn't meant to be kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, like, he kind of even teases that. But, like, it's not about that. You know, that's what the movie's not really about that. It's more about, like, how their friendship impacted each other in these moments, you know? Even if it's not forever. Like, it's like, we don't see her again.
No. We get the freeze frame and that's it.
Exactly.
The movie...
Yeah,
the movie does then cut to them both fighting in the dojo again.
Yes.
And Ko makes Tony tap. And he says he wants to fight Lee Kong.
Yeah, he's ready. And
Tony says, what's with the sudden urge? And then Louis Ko says, you probably won't believe me, but I have a hereditary eye disease. It's glaucoma. I'll gradually lose eyesight until I eventually go blind. He says this laughing as they're both still training, obviously. So you could easily see this as just being a joke of him saying the exact same thing because they're just crazy about judo.
The way even they're just both laughing while he's saying
exactly
it.
like
he could be given a fake reason too, the same way Tony gave a fake reason.
Exactly, like that's the first time I watched this. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I thought.
The movie works fine like that.
It does work fine like that. But whenever you realize that he's being truthful, it does make everything hit really hard, honestly. But yeah, I just have in my notes that he basically is just saying here he's not lying. He's definitely not lying, and that's one of the reasons why I think this is like one of the sweetest movies about like overcoming depression and needing the assistance of others to do so as well. Having a solid support system, as I put in my notes, but we get a scene next of Ko turning off the lights to the dojo before receiving a postcard from Japan from Mona, which reads, "I'll buy you dinner when I make it big." And I love this shot of Ko staring out the window into the light, because at this moment, watching it now, I fully think he's fully blind. Just the way he looks out the window. Because it's almost like he doesn't realize the light is hitting him, but he realizes later, and that's why he has that smile on his face. I don't know. But it cuts after that moment to Tony asking Lee Kong if he will fight Louis Ko again and finish the fight from 2 years ago that they never finished. And then it just immediately cuts to the grass field from the very beginning of the movie.
The tall grass,
the
buildings in the background.
It's such a great location, man. Like, it's insane. Like,
and he said in that interview, like, it took him a long time to grow this grass, but it was like super important for the movie, you know.
It is. It's so good, and this is obviously it is a clear ode to Sanshiro Sugata, because Sanshiro Sugata, the first movie, does end in a tall grass field / wilderness too. So
yeah.
I mean, this is just. This entire last, I think it's like 5-ish minutes probably, is in this field, but it's just, I love him getting led there, because if once again watching, it's just a very subtle way to show that he is blind at this moment, because he's getting led through the field and no one else is. Like, he's holding on to Tony's shoulder.
Yeah.
And we see Lee Kong is already there waiting, and They obviously start their fight. My favorite shot... it's hard to say.
This is also another thing. Lee Kong is supposed to be blindfolded, too.
Yes, he is blindfolded. He is blindfolded.
It's all visual references. Like, he's supposed to be blindfolded because we're supposed to assume Lee Ko's already blind.
Exactly.
So then also when he starts cheating, too, when he takes the blindfold
off. Well, he
doesn't
cheat. I think his blindfold...
just falls off?
That's what I said. That's what I think, because...
I think David Borwell thinks he cheats.
Really?
I'm sure that's what he mentions in terms of, like, he takes his blindfold off.
Because I think it falls off, because whenever it falls off, he closes his eyes still, so he's still trying to be honorable in my eyes. Like Tony Leung closes his eyes whenever the blindfold comes off.
Maybe it actually is I don't know. Someone said that. It might have been Johhnie To.
Oh, maybe. I mean, if Johhnie To said it, then who am I to disagree?
No,
with
but
but
you can disagree with the characters too, like
because I never think he cheats. Like, if he would have been cheating, I would have thought of him more as an antagonist. I think he's just having, like, I anytime I see Tony Leung on the screen, I just think he's having a good time in this movie. Like, he's just living his life to his fullest as well. Because whenever the blindfold falls off in this one, he does, like, close his eyes whenever he sees Louis Ko's face. So. I don't know.
But doesn't he open his eyes later, though?
He opens his eyes later, but that's only whenever he admits defeat. Like, whenever he gets thrown, he opens his eyes and comes back at him like that, and they surrender. My favorite shot in this scene, though, might just be Jing in the right corner as we're seeing them fighting. It's such a good
high angle shot.
Such a good shot.
It's like
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the very beginning shot from the movie of the master training in the field, but I just love that shot. But he's obviously seeing the Sanshiro Sugata thing as this is happening as well. So, just a beautiful scene all around. He does surrender, as I said, and they both bow, and he just walks away gracefully. And then it just has we are shown just them, all three of them walking out of the field. Obviously, his hand's still on his shoulder, and they're just going like, oh.
No,
they're just cheering, and it cuts to Louis Ko and Jing handing out flowers on the side of the street again, and then it just cuts to the sun over the harbor.
The sun setting. Oh, it's just like so random too when he cuts to the
so
sun.
Good,
like, you don't expect. There's no ever sun like. With all these movies full of repetitions.
Exactly.
Even that last shot with the flowers is also repetition.
It is. And then
the sun is like just brand new. You know, he's always keeping you guessing.
It's such a good shot, too.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And then the movie ends on that sun.
Yeah.
And a salute to Akira Kurosawa, the greatest filmmaker. Followed by a Gillette commercial.
I forgot about the Gillette.
It's so funny that follows immediately after it, but... That is the end of Throwdown, A phenomenal movie. Like I said, probably my favorite for the man at the moment. I really do love it. That probably came through while we were talking about it. I feel like we went long on it, but
no, it's a great movie. For only being an hour and a half, it's like so much to talk about.
It is. So much you miss out on the first time also. Like, oh yeah, let me actually read the quote.
Plus, like, I'm glad you said that, because, like, while you were going to that quote, like, he was, like, kind of disappointed with the audience reaction for this movie,
I can see
too.
that.
But he's like, hopefully the audience will go rewatch it and, you know, on rewatch they'll get more of it, too.
Yeah.
So
this book that Stephen Tiao made, or wrote, actually came out before election. So he's added things on afterwards to the work to like talk about some of his newer movies, obviously. Mm-hmm. But this did come out like as Throwdown came out, basically. And so he actually is kind of talking about the recognition of Throwdown as well, because he says, recognition of Throwdown as To's greatest film may only come in time, as To himself is probably aware. Throwdown is very much a retrospective movie, not so much because it looks back to Kurosawa, but because it looks back on itself. One can appreciate its individual greatness only after multiple viewings, whereas a first viewing might very well leave the viewer dumbfounded, whereby the conclusion would be that the film is a failure.
I mean, I think that's actually a good motto for both of these films, specifically.
Yes.
That's why I was saying maybe different... Like, some of the other action movies and commercial movies we'll do later, they're meant to be, like, first watches... a little more understanding as well.
Yes, definitely.
You know, like even running.
You're supposed to at least enjoy it the first watch.
They're a little more spectacle based, but these are more also about the kind of like ideas are more focused.
Yeah.
Or more central, even. Like that's why like I kept reading like using words like romantic or poetic and stuff, but like that's almost like saying like it's because the narrative is so kind of submitted to like the ideas themselves. You know, he's trying to get across those kind of ideas and themes more importantly. You know?
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's both of these great movies this week.
Yes, great movies. It's sad that Luke's life is running down right now, but hey,
no, he's got a lot.
He'll be back next week.
Hopefully he gets his tests out of the way.
Yeah, hopefully. So next week we are going to be going back into the more gun action movies. Honestly, the first ones that we've really done this series so far. The true, I guess you could say, gun action films. But we are going to be doing Breaking News and Exiled. Another two great Johhnie To movies from the mid-aughts era. So until then, we hope to see you floating through the clouds.